I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning and a very happy new year to you. But do you share the Prime Minister's optimism for 2026?
But even more people will feel once again a sense of hope, a belief that things can and will get better.
Well, in his New Year's message, the Prime Minister promised positive changes on the horizon after a turbulent 2025.
Meanwhile, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch also released this positive message for the year ahead.
Is not destined for decline. We are a great country full of talent, humour and strength. Things can change, but only if we have a plan for change.
Overnight, London rang in the new year in style as cities around the globe lit up the night sky with spectacular fireworks to welcome 2026.
We will stop this. We will smash the gangs.
I will do whatever it takes to secure our borders.
In August, I signed the new treaty with France, allowing us for the first time to directly return those who arrive on small boats.
With illegal channel crossings reaching record levels in 2025, questions remain over why Labour has failed to take sufficient action to turn the situation around. Will this year be any different, though?
Raising a glass to not raising a glass. Dry January is beginning for millions of people as participants give up alcohol for the month ahead in a bid to reset after the festive season.
And as millions travel home to celebrate New Year's Day, is widespread disruption inevitable?
And a new year brings new promises, but do New Year's resolutions really inspire lasting change or just set us up to fall short?
This is twisted.
Just the way I like it.
And it's back. The full series of Traitors airs tonight on the BBC, hosted by Claudia Winkleman. But no need to watch. There's plenty of better stuff here on GB News.
A very good morning and a happy new year. It's a huge day at the PDC World Darts Championship as world number one Luke Littler steps out in front of the Ali Pali crowd for the first time since he was booed on Monday. Elsewhere, there are 4 matches in the Premier League with Liverpool and Manchester City in action. And also, it's that time again as January hits and football clubs have got their checkbooks out. I'll be talking about the very latest transfer speculation.
It's a cold few days to start 2026 and there's some snow around, but will you see any? Well, stay tuned to find out.
It's 2 minutes past 6. I'm Dawn Neeson.
And I'm Sam Francis, just waking up. It's New Year's Day. This is GB News Breakfast.
So a very, very happy New Year to you all. Thank you so much for joining us for the first GB News live show of the new year. And it's a pleasure to be here with you all.
It's the same team. I think it's the same team as 2025. Exactly.
I think I'm possibly wearing the same jacket.
I don't think I've seen you since then, Sam, have I? We do different hours. You ships that pass.
But I'm on the lates, you're on the earlies,
Yeah.
weekends, I'm midweek. It's all
great to be here, though.
Change, yeah.
Obviously, the big question is, how are we all feeling today, Ada?
I'm fine. I was on Ben Leo's show last night at about 7:30, 8 o'clock. That was from home, and then I was in bed by about 11 because these shifts are quite high demanding.
Yes,
Hardly
okay.
gone.
You did the 6 o'clock.
I'm fine. I had a cheeky hot chocolate last night. I was in bed by 10 o'clock. Watched a little bit of the GB News live show last night, which was fabulous. Everyone looked gorgeous. And you were hosting. You had a house full of people.
I finished up here at about 9 o'clock, dashed home, hosted until about 1 a.m, and then, well, now I'm here. So
Looking
the
remarkable.
rest I will not talk about. But feeling good.
We'll reveal that later on, won't we? More of that's come probably after the watershed, after 9 o'clock. But thank you for your company this morning. So let us know how you celebrated last night, or did you were you a bit dull like me and in bed with a hot chocolate by 10 o'clock? Let us know how you're thinking, how you're feeling, what your thoughts are about the year that's just gone and the one that's coming up. Are you full of optimism? Or are you a little bit like Nigel Farage said, just a little bit gloomy about what's coming up? But we've got all the politics, all the fun stuff, and some hangover cures as well coming up, because some of you might, not us, obviously, but some of you might know them. gbnews.com/your say is the way to get in touch. And let's have a chat, shall we? It's New Year. OK, and indeed, Happy New Year. And it was rung in across the globe with a series of spectacular firework displays.
They really were. And our reporter Anna Riley has this roundup for you of all the celebrations from across the globe.
2026 is here. Midnight marked the welcoming of the new year across the globe. New Zealand was the first major city to celebrate. Their display from Auckland Sky Tower signalled the new year 13 hours ahead of the UK. The revelry reached Australia a couple of hours later. Fireworks transformed the skyline over Sydney's iconic harbour. The festivities then reached Beijing with a drum performance on the Great Wall of China. Hong Kong was next to count down the occasion, and the party then moved on to other parts of Asia. The event continued in the United Arab Emirates. Followed by celebrations in Europe, as the sky lit up over France. Then it was finally Britain's time to bring in the new year. Dazzling pyrotechnics were fired across the River Thames in London. Tens of thousands of people gathered at the sold-out event as Big Ben struck 12, and millions more tuned in to watch the annual event. Hogmanay was back with a bang after bad weather stopped last year's Scottish celebrations. The main midnight moment was held above Edinburgh Castle. Throughout the world, the 1st of January always brings a sense of new beginnings. This year is already off to a cracking start. Anna Riley, GB News.
You know what? I didn't stay awake to watch the fireworks.
You must have seen Sydney.
Yeah, I did see Sydney, but the ones in London, I mean, they look lovely, don't they, to be honest with you? And lots of people were there, and there were 12,000?
12,000 fireworks, biggest in Europe, apparently, and the biggest London fireworks to date.
Yeah, and lots of people seem to enjoy them. Lots of people were there. Was that 100,000 people on the banks of the Thames?
Near enough.
There? Wow. And some of them were paying 60 quid to be there as well.
Have you ever been down there?
No, I've
never
once.
Pay.
No, I would have.
You've been in London all your life.
I've been in London all my life, but I used to go back in the day when you could go to Trafalgar Square, and it was free, and you could jump into the fountains and get very cold and no.
Public parks, locations all closed.
Yeah.
Which is the real issue.
They were actually putting borders around our parks, like Primrose
Hill, Hampstead
Greenwich,
Heath.
Hampstead Hill, Alexandra Palace in North London. It's just like, and they were charging you to go and watch on the banks of Thames. Anyway, I was annoyed about that last night. I'm still annoyed. But talking of politics, the Prime Minister has promised positive change on the horizon in his New Year message.
Yeah, Sir Keir Starmer has admitted that times have been hard for Britain, but he insisted his government is staying the course to turn things around. Take a listen.
Things have been tough in Britain for a while. For many, life is still harder than it should be. You long for a bit more money in your pockets, a meal out, a holiday, the chance to make a special family moment extra special. In 2026, the choices we've made will mean more people will begin to feel positive change in your bills, your communities and your health service.
OK, it comes after other political leaders used their annual messages to set their sights on the 2026 local elections, including the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch. Have a listen.
Happy New Year. There is a lot to look forward to this year. No, not Labour's tax rises, but a Winter Olympics, a World Cup, and for political geeks, local elections. Last year was difficult for many people. No growth, higher taxes, and record unemployment, with lots of people losing their jobs. Many in our country are finding it harder and harder to imagine life getting better. But we shouldn't lose hope. Britain is not destined for decline. We are a great country full of talent, humour and strength. Things can change, but only if we have a plan for change.
Well, just two there of those political messages for the new year, and delighted to say that former Mayor of Middlesbrough and political commentator Andy Preston joins us now in the studio. Very happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome.
Andy.
Well, tough year, but changes ahead. That's the message from Sir Keir Starmer. We've heard it all before.
You know what? It's a tough year. New Year is a great chance, isn't it? At a personal, a professional, a political level, it's a fresh start. So for leaders, it's a golden opportunity to look forward and inject that optimism that we all crave. I don't think Keir Starmer can do it. Almost doesn't matter what he says. I can barely remember what he said, but he didn't have that energy about him. He didn't instill optimism, and that's a personal problem, I think, for him. Almost doesn't matter what he says, Sam, it doesn't look like he believes it.
That is the problem, isn't it? I mean, obviously, politics should be about your policies rather than your personality. But, I mean, if you read any of the newspapers today or any, debate forums, we're not all talking about, the fireworks were lovely. We're talking about will Keir Starmer be PM at the end of the year?
He's in a very tough spot. And I do feel sorry for him because he almost cannot win whatever he does. Even if the economy does start to improve, I think it's a long time, before we all start to feel a bit better in our pockets, Dawn. So Keir Starmer's got a monstrous challenge. He doesn't have... It shouldn't be like this, but it is. Politics, you need charisma, you need leadership, you need to be that figurehead. He doesn't have that. So he's doomed. He will be gone. I thought he'd be gone by now. I was wrong.
You did say actually.
I did say that. But I do think he's got just a few months in him. I think they will wait till the local elections. Why, I don't know, because they will be disastrous. It's a question of how much, but they will be. And did you see yesterday or the day before that Zach Polanski, the rising star of the left, has said that he would support and work with Andy Burnham, but not Keir Starmer? There isn't much of a stronger message from the left than that.
In terms of what you're hearing on the ground locally, do you feel that people believe things are genuinely turning a corner? I mean, you look at the polls, it's quite gloomy out there on the streets.
Not at all. I think optimism is at an astonishingly low level. People feel very negative, very pessimistic. They feel hostile, frustrated and angry everywhere. And it's going to take a long time to fix that. And when things do get better economically, it takes time for people to feel that in their pockets and feel that psychologically. Optimism is hard to instill. So whoever's in power, whoever's in, has got a very tough job on their hands, and Keir Starmer is not the right man.
You know what? I just want to hear from any of our politicians, it's not even a political point, any of them, something positive looking forward, something they're going to do. I mean, in almost every message we heard, they were having a go at the other parties. I mean, Kemi Badenoch said, you're reopening their old wounds about Brexit and going back to that, which indeed they were. I mean, Keir Starmer having a go at Nigel Farage and the rise of the far right and how we're all more divided. It's just like, can you just stop having a go at one another?
Totally.
And just tell us what you're going to do to make our lives better.
Yeah, like there's one day, there's one opportunity. New Year is literally once a year, necessarily. Why not just be relentlessly and furiously positive? Why not just try and transmit some optimism and energy about your own ideas and not slag off the others? We're all getting sick of it. We're all feeling pessimistic, and being negative will not help.
This is where we are, though, at the moment. I mean, what's your prediction? Your big prediction? I mean, it's this time of year, we have to do a prediction, don't we? We have to do a prediction. So, Andy, I'm putting you on the spot here. What is your one prediction nailed on that's going to happen in 2026 in the world of politics?
Keir Starmer goes. Absolutely. I thought he would be gone by the end of 2025, and I have to confess, I did put a small £10 bet on that, which hasn't worked. I've now officially lost 10 quid, so I'm quite...
Will you risk the bet again?
The odds aren't good enough. I think most people feel that he will be gone. Most people don't think it's certain. I think it's almost certain. He has to go. Labour cannot improve. It's like a football manager when the club is at the bottom of the league. 3/4 of the season have gone, and your only chance now is to change leadership. You swap managers.
Yeah. I'm a West Ham fan. That doesn't necessarily always work out well.
It doesn't always work.
Who do you swap for?
Well, I think that Andy Burnham is the popular choice.
He doesn't have a seat at the moment.
He doesn't have a seat. That's easily doable. I think Lewis in Norwich, Clive Lewis came forward, didn't he, and offered his seat, which he really shouldn't have done. That undermined Keir Starmer in early December. I think there would be plenty of people that would step forward and do that, knowing they'd be compensated down the line by the Labour leader.
OK. Oh, and just quickly, one final question on reform. The bubble did appear to burst a little bit towards the end of last year for Nigel Farage personally and for the party, slightly down in the polls. Do you think that will continue, or do you think they'll bounce back?
I honestly don't know. I mean, truthfully, they are currently in the polls at about 28% on average. I look at a range of polls. The average is about 28%. Imagine they fell by 10%, dropped to 25.5%, 25%. That would feel bad from 30 to 25, but if you look at that over a year, they would be delighted, wouldn't they? So while it may feel like they're declining somewhat, they and their supporters should be very comfortable where they are. The problem is, Dawn, as you've said, it's that momentum, isn't it? If it were to carry on, and when you fall, like with football, when you have a bad run, people start fighting, infighting, I was going to say some bad words there, but causing trouble behind the scenes, and that's a very difficult job for a manager to handle. And the question is, if they dip down to 22% and there's infighting, is Nigel Farage the right man to manage that?
Oh, lordy. Andy, thank you very much for that one. That's Andy Preston, a former mayor of Middlesbrough and political commentator with his predictions. Let us know what you think.
Well, New Year's Day sees millions heading home or travelling for celebrations, but with so many on the move, travel disruptions are, well, almost inevitable. Whether it's weather, delays, overcrowded transport, the race to start the year stress-free can quickly turn into a chaotic journey.
Well, we managed to make it into the studio, and I tell you what, the streets of London this morning are absolutely heaving, and that's at like 3 in the morning, really, really busy. But also, someone else made it into the studio, but probably because he cycled, he does everywhere. That's travel editor at The Independent, the wonderful Simon Calder. Simon, Happy New Year, really good to see you.
Happy New Year, I need to say, and Happy New Year, Sam. Also, Andy Preston, he cycles in as well.
So I cycled in.
This morning.
Of course.
It was freezing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But it's the only way to travel. If you want to have some certainty, then get on your bike.
In these
gloves. You've got to have gloves. That's the one thing I find. My hands get absolutely frozen.
Well done, used to. Off to a flying start, fitness-wise. But do we all need to get on our bikes, or can we ride on trains and planes and stuff?
OK, well, let's... Where do you want to start? Trains, planes, boats?
Which is worse?
OK, well, let's start probably on the planes, just because there's quite a lot of stuff happening there. Don't worry, if you're flying somewhere today, it's actually really quite a smart day, because we've got some severe weather, as we were hearing from Alex earlier. There's going to be some really... There's a yellow weather warning which has just taken effect in basically the northern half of Scotland going up to Orkney, and that is going to probably impact some of the flights from airports like Inverness, Aberdeen and so on. But actually it's bad weather elsewhere which is causing problems. So Toronto, eastern Canada, has been having a miserable time basically for about the last 4 or 5 days. Still long delays in Toronto. If you're flying out to Toronto and maybe changing planes, well, the chances are your flight's going to leave, possibly with a bit of delay, but when you get there, you might find your onward flight is cancelled because of the extreme weather. The other place which has been having a tough time is Lisbon in Portugal. We had loads of flights yesterday delayed by 2 or 3 hours. That was due to poor visibility. And then the people, if people were flying off to the sunshine yesterday, I wish them well, but unfortunately nearly 500 people on Emirates Flight 2 from London Heathrow to Dubai didn't get any further than Maidstone. So they were on everyone's fine. They were on an Airbus A380, a super jumbo. They took off normally. They got to Maidstone. At that point, they realised there was an issue with the landing gear door. So what do? Well, obviously you circle over Biggin Hill in Kent for a couple of hours to burn off fuel, and then you land. And of course, by that stage, it was getting dark. They were trying to rebook people on other flights, but everyone's missed their connections. So, unfortunately, a number of people will have seen in the new year, not beside the Gulf, but beside the A4 in one of the airport hotels in West London. So not a perfect start, but frankly, compared with the trains, it was good. I spent most of New Year's Eve at London St Pancras International, the hub for Eurostar. They had really awful problems starting on, actually, bear in mind, everybody, if you're wondering what day it is, it's Thursday today, OK? Starting on Tuesday, they cancelled 30 trains, 25,000 people who had plans either to get back to Paris, Brussels or Amsterdam, or to go there for a lovely break, or to come back from a holiday in Paris or maybe Disneyland. Loads of people in disarray. I think some of those will be getting back only today where they need to be. But elsewhere, things we knew about and things we didn't know about. Things we knew about, the engineering works. So London Liverpool Street Station, busiest station in the UK, that's all closed apart from the Elizabeth line, so lines out to Stansted Airport, to Norwich, to Ipswich, to Southend and so on. Those are closed. West Coast Main Line, that's going to be shut for another 4 days, where they're fixing some stuff south of Rugby, and that means that you're going to have rail replacement buses. And starting today, it's very exciting. Well, the people in Lancashire may or not think so, but they're closing the M6, and this is going to be taking a couple of weeks. It's actually going to close the M6 for a couple of weekends, so if you're driving, check that. But it's to replace a railway bridge. And they're also closing the railway line, and so there's going to be a little shuttle running from Preston to Carlisle, the pretty way. So it goes out into the Pennines and then over viaducts. It's an absolutely lovely way to spend a few hours, if you've got a few hours to spend. If you want to get from Glasgow to London quickly, it's not great. And the other thing we've got this morning is just the extreme weather again. That can freeze up points and power cables and cause general mayhem. And then on the boats, so mostly OK on the Channel, North Sea OK. It's Western Scotland where we are seeing problems. There's a few technical problems around on the Caledonian McBrain ferries, but mostly it's just high winds, which are going to be gale force in some places and causing lots of problems. But I guess if you live in the Western Isles, you're slightly used to that sort of thing.
Indeed. Oh, that's
Will there ever be a new year where there isn't travel chaos?
You know what I think, Sam, the best thing to do is just sit in front of the telly.
I think so.
It's a bit cold, a bit windy out there. I'd just sit in front of the telly and watch GB News, to be honest.
I do love it, though, when anyone says the what was it, the
M6.
M6. My dad always said, the M6, the M this, the M that. It doesn't mean anything to me.
You don't drive at all?
No. Well, I drive, but with a Google Maps phone right in front of me. I'm one of those. Yeah, try and navigate without that. I'm lost.
Simon Calder, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck travelling. If you are travelling today, good luck travelling. And remember, there is no escape, because you can take us with you on your radio, and if you're a passenger, we're on your laptops and your phones, and there's literally no escapes. So don't look at Google Maps like him, just...
Just no pressing the buttons while you're driving.
No, indeed. But let us know what you are up to. Obviously, this programme is all about you. It is New Year. We want to have a chat with you, see how you're feeling today. Are you feeling optimistic? Are you hungover? We might have some hangover cures coming up later in the show for you. But before we get on to the rest of the show, let's get a check on that weather. It's going to be pretty grim out there today. Here's Alex Burker with all the details for you.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, Happy New Year. This is your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. It's a cold day today. We have northerly winds bringing Arctic air and also plenty of showers, particularly across parts of Scotland. These readily falling as snow. We're going to see some snow accumulations really building up as we go through the next few days. Also through today, a few spots of showery rain, maybe some sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and perhaps feeding into some central and maybe southern parts of England. Elsewhere, actually a lot of dry, sunny weather to be had, but temperatures a little bit below average for the time of year and feeling even colder where you're exposed to that brisk northerly wind that's pushing through into the evening. And we're going to continue with showers piling in across northern parts of Scotland. Snow building up. We're talking 20-30 centimetres perhaps over the highest routes, and with some brisk winds still, we could see some blizzard-like conditions. Also a few showery bursts of mainly rain across parts of Northern Ireland, perhaps a wintry mix pushing in across parts of Wales, some sleet, some snow over the higher ground, a few spots of rain across some parts of southwest England, but otherwise across much of England really it is going to be a fine end to the day. Clear skies though, allowing temperatures to plummet, so it is going to turn cold, frosty, a harsh frost in quite a few places, just where you've got that breeze coming in from the north and a bit more cloud perhaps towards some western parts. Here temperatures not dropping quite as low, generally staying a few degrees above freezing, but further east, yes, it is going to be cold and frosty tomorrow morning. Watch out as there is the potential for a front of sorts to bring some rain, sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales and maybe into southern southeastern parts of England as we go through tomorrow morning. That could cause some problems with some icy stretches here and there. Otherwise, actually a lot of fine weather for many, some decent sunshine, just still plenty more snow showers in areas exposed to that northerly wind. Temperatures, if anything, tomorrow are going to be a few degrees down on today, so feeling even colder.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Still to come, hundreds of thousands of Brits are expected to sign up to gyms this January as part of their New Year's resolutions, but are the pledges really worth making?
Yeah, this is GB News Breakfast with Dawn and Sam. Definitely not in the gym at the moment.
Not yet.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday Five.
You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Hello, welcome
back.
We're discussing breakfast food choices.
Director's eating poppadoms. I've snacked on some crisps.
And I was just saying I've had nothing yet, but let us know. And lots of you are saying, hangover cures, we're still drunk. So good on you. It is New Year. Why not own that dry January thing? It's just all
Well, you were just saying in the break that you think resolutions are all just a bit of a faff.
I get it's something to aim at.
But what's the alternative if you're not going to set a plan for the new year?
I just think we all put too much pressure on ourselves. And, you know, the guilt trip. I mean, everyone always goes too mad. It's like, rather than I'm going to jog around the block, it's like, I'm going to run a marathon by February. You're not.
Not attainable, then you feel like you're a failure because you haven't kept up with the intention.
You know, we've got lots of people who are making us feel like failures at the moment. Politicians, mainly, it has to be said. So I just want to
So you don't have one at all?
Everything in moderation, no. Spend more time working with you, Sam.
There we go.
I think I'm going to do that one, OK. But let us know what you're up to, whether you've got resolutions or not, or whether you're still too drunk to even care. It's up to you. OK, now, as 2026 actually kicks off, millions across the country will be actually making those resolutions, with health and fitness goals expected to be the top choice again. Are these pledges fit for purpose?
Well, GB News national reporter Jack Carson has been covering the story for us.
As 2026 bursts into life, 1 in 5 Brits say they'll be making a New Year's resolution, with the most popular group being 18 to 24-year-olds, where 37% say they'll be making a change. Almost a quarter of this year's resolution makers say they intend to exercise more. 11% of resolutions are financial, and 4% say they want to spend more quality time with loved ones. At Pure Gym, Group Personal Training Director Hugh Hanley says when it comes to those fitness resolutions, it's about finding a way to stay focused.
January's definitely a big month for us in the fitness industry, but it's ultimately a great chance for us to have a big impact in our communities by helping people get set up for a great year ahead. You need to set a realistic goal for yourself. I think people sometimes think, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week after never being in the gym. I would much rather a client comes to the gym 2 to 3 times that they can commit to and get them doing that for 6 to 8 weeks. It's far more attainable when life gets busy. You've had a period over Christmas where you've probably eaten a bit more than you should have, relaxed a little bit, and your motivation is sky high, but that motivation won't last. So building a plan that you can be consistent with will 110% far outweigh when motivation passes.
Pure Gym expects hundreds of thousands of people to sign up in January, with millions of gym visits too. How long have I been going?
10 seconds, Jack.
Oh, God.
Out on the streets of Birmingham city centre, what resolutions are people setting themselves this year?
Everything I said that I was going to do for the last year. You're not very good at keeping them. Not especially, but if I was to do one, it'd just be to do good in school.
We never keep them, so we don't bother.
Don't bother anymore. No more.
Maintain the exercise and try and stay healthy, which is all that matters, really.
Probably do some more exercise and get back into my yoga.
Whatever the resolution, the new year provides us a chance to make a change and start 2026 with a bang. Jack Carson, GB News, Birmingham.
Favourite part of the breakfast show so far, Jack Carson on a treadmill. Is that going to last, Jack? That's the question.
He seemed pretty keen. Lots of you are getting in touch about your resolutions, so keep them coming in at gbnews.com/your say. Dry January doesn't seem to be going down that well with some of you.
Not a single one.
OK, we were just talking about resolutions to travel, weren't we? So we are now going to give you some money that might help that resolution, if that's what you fancy doing, because it's time for the Great British Giveaway, and we are actually giving its biggest prize, isn't it?
£85,000 in cash. Spend it however you like. Kick off your new year in style. Here's all the details that you need.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to splash on anything you can dream of. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. £85,000 is the biggest cash prize we've ever given away. It's totally tax-free, which means that every single penny of it will be yours. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Best of luck. That would set your new year off in style.
Oh, yes, wouldn't it? Just
Wouldn't mind
indeedy. Now, it is New Year's Day, but if you are curious about what the time is, maybe you haven't even gone to bed yet. It is coming up to 35 minutes past 6 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day. And it is time for a bit of peace and quiet, isn't it, I think?
Daily reflection.
The GB News 12 Days of Christmas, Day 8.
My name is Marcus Mack. I'm a vicar in the Church of England. In Superman Returns, shortly after Lois Lane wrote an article about how the world doesn't need Superman, Superman carries her into the air, overlooking the city, and then asked her, "What do you hear?" "Nothing," she replied. Superman then said, "I hear everything. You wrote that the world doesn't need a savior, but I, every day, hear people crying out for one." Believing that the world doesn't need a savior is the cultural air we breathe. But in reality, many are longing for deliverance from their distress, longing for a better world and life, yearning for salvation. Many movies have repeated themes, tales of heroism and self-sacrifice, leading to great rescues and battles against good and evil. Deep within, we long for salvation. It is now 8 days since the celebration of the birth of Jesus, and on this day, Jesus was given his name. Jesus means the Lord is salvation, or the Lord saves. His name expresses his mission, identity, and purpose. He came to save his people from their sins. He came to bring salvation and deliver people from their distress into the loving arms of a mighty God.
What a nice way to start the year.
I do love them, I must admit. It's just like that nice, even if you don't have a faith, it's just that nice and
Well, there's
breathe.
truth in there, isn't there? It just kind of grounds you.
Yeah.
Great
and
way to start the day.
Just have a think. However, if you want to get stressed out and you're thinking of travelling anywhere today, here is your traffic and travel update. But we are on the radio, you can take us with you.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Take care on the A9 Dornoch Bridge, where high winds are making driving tricky. In Buckinghamshire, the M40 northbound between Junction 2 and Junction 4 has lane closures after a crash, with normal conditions expected between 8:30 and 8:45 this morning. In Hampshire, the M3 eastbound between Junction 9 and Junction 7 has a broken-down vehicle blocking one of 3 lanes, and it should clear between 6:30 and 7:15 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton, or Rugby, while Cross Country reports engineering work around Cambridge and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News,
Britain's news channel.
News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Just gone 6:41. We're going to bring you some breaking news, in fact, from a Swiss ski resort. Reports coming into us that several people have reportedly been killed, a number of others injured following an explosion at that resort in Switzerland just after around 1:30 a.m. local time. The town where that took place, around 87 miles of trails and skiing lines in that area. We'll bring you more details on that as we get it. We're also seeing some footage on social media appearing to show a fire at that bar, popular with British tourists. So we're waiting to hear from the Foreign Office on any news regarding that situation.
Yeah. A Swiss police representative has just said there will be another update coming from the police very shortly, and when asked how many people have been killed, they said, the spokesperson said, we can't say yet, but several. As Sam just said, we will bring you any more information on that as and when we have it. But obviously, tragic news to start off a new year.
Time now to go through all the latest sport. Aidan McGee, good morning.
Good morning to you both.
Happy
Happy New Year to you both. Yeah, one place to start today, big day at the Ali Pally in North London. Luke Littler is in action tonight, 7:15, against Krzysztof Ratajski. Now, what's interesting here is that on Monday he was booed for the first time in his career, Luke. World number one, world champion. Is it endemic of the fact that we like to build people up and knock them down? It was a bit confusing as to why he was booed, because the suggestion is that the British crowd wouldn't really do that, but it was half made up of German crowd, of German punters who have just in a mischievous way booed him overseas. Then, of course, he came off the match. He'd beaten Rob Cross. He was pushed to the limit, Sam. He really was, by a former world champion. He really had to dig out the gears to work through the gears to get himself or navigate his way through the competition. And the problem there is that they're interviewed within seconds of coming off the oche. Now, it's often said within football that the flash interviews are where the players are highly emotionally charged and they sometimes say things they regret. The broadcasters quite like that, if I'm honest with you. But at least there they get a few minutes. They probably get about 10, 15 minutes. Here they get seconds. They're just literally the interviewers on the stage straight away and they're off. And he said some things that I think he would, with hindsight, regret saying. He says,
no chance to unpack, no chance to sort of...
Precisely. Look, I'm not saying he didn't say what he was feeling. He said, look, you lot pay my wages. And they do pay their wages. But we all know that in sport. We all know that these guys are up there to earn money, same as anybody else in life. But he probably regrets that. And it's just new territory for him because he's not been booed before. His mum, Lisa, took to social media and made her opinions clear on the crowd. Other fans gave a bit of to and fro. Inciting the crowd is not the same in darts as it is in football. Dawn will tell you this. There is a risk of incitement at a football crowd, or even any crowds, to be honest with you, but specifically in football. Darts isn't really like that. They like a bit of to and fro. And as for journalists saying, "Oh, Luke needs to watch what he says," Dawn, you'll give me some advice on this. When do we get so serious? We love it when people get on stage and have a go back, and it gives us headlines, it gives us stories.
And everyone's in fancy dress.
Of course it is.
That's why people are there in the first place, to watch.
Yeah, they're going dressed as Teletubbies.
Yeah.
You know, so
Scooby-Doo, I heard as well.
Sorry?
Scooby-Doo.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, why not? Why not? So that's what's interesting. It's been a bit of a storm in a teacup, but look, the reason Luke Littler is at the top is because he's outstanding. The prize money this year, £1 million.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I'll dress as Scooby-Doo for that. Thank you very much. More from you. Next hour, we'll be talking about the football as well. Now, still to come, we'll be going through today's papers with Emma Wolf and Lewis Oakley. Where are you? Are you there? Going to give us a wave? Give us a wave. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
But they do look slightly jaded, it has to be said, don't they? We'll be getting the news then next. But first, if you are in search of some holiday sun, here's a forecast for those top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Plenty of heavy and thundery rain across parts of southern Europe as we go through into the weekend. There's Storm Francis, which is heading towards Spain and Portugal, bringing heavy and thundery rain here. Also some heavy rain across parts of Italy, Slovenia, Hungary, Croatia, and the risk of some significant hill snow building up in parts as well. Into the weekend, well, there will be some dry weather around, but also further rain at times too. I'll see you later.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, here at Holbrook Animal Rescue, they're being forced to relocate, and if they can't find a suitable alternative, they'll even be at risk of closing. And I've seen the amazing work that they've done here. Just earlier we met a dog called Essie who has just found her almost possible forever home literally in the time that we were here. She only came here a couple of days ago, so it's really great work that they do for all animals. Like this one here, this is Torn, he's just a puppy, and I'm also joined by Laura Santini, who runs the shelter. Tell us a bit about Torn here.
So this is just a little fellow that came in, no fault of his own. The people just couldn't cope with him. So he's lively, and he's a half shepherd, half Labrador.
What kind of impact would the possible relocation or even closure have on dogs like this one and all the other animals you have here?
Well, simply that we wouldn't be able to take them. So if the next one comes up like this and we've got nowhere to go, then we just can't take them, obviously. So what happens to them at that point, I don't know, because we don't just take beautiful pups like this. We take the old and the sick and the dogs that other people don't necessarily want to take. So I can't imagine what would happen to some of them. So I don't know. It's sad. It's just a sad situation.
And you've had quite a lot of support from the community here in trying to relocate. What's been there for you in terms of support?
They're absolutely incredible. They've sent 1,000 letters into the council to try and support us and help us and let everyone see the light that, you know, you do actually need animal sanctuaries around. You can't shut them all down. We're always getting phone calls saying how much people like what we do and hope we get our planning appeal when it goes through and things like that.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back and thank you for your company. We are now going to go through the newspapers. Yeah, there are newspapers today. Journalists were working very hard yesterday. Lots of pictures of fireworks, but also some interesting stories in there. So we've got author Emma Wharf and broadcaster and podcast host Lewis Oakley joining us to go through the papers. Where do you want to start, Peeps?
Should we dive in with the Times and the front page with news that the special needs support for parents this year looks like it could be scrapped, not the way you want to start a new year.
No, I mean, so parents whose children have moderate mental health and developmental needs are set to be stripped of their legal right to certain supports under plans being considered by ministers. And what the idea is, I think, is that they're going to shift these rights over to schools, and the schools are going to deal with it. I've got to be honest, this is one of those stories where the devil will be in the detail. What exactly are they what do they mean legal rights are going to be removed if it's just that they can't fund things? You could just say I have a right, but there's no funding for it. It's obviously it's got to be done on a case-by-case basis. You know, my kids have had some needs here and there, and obviously they don't need anything wild for it. And I think we've obviously had those stories over the years of they had a bit of anxiety and now they're chauffeured to school. And I think that there has definitely been examples of people thinking, well, this doesn't really make sense. But this will alarm a lot of parents that say, look, we're not asking for anything crazy here. My child's needs are my child's needs. And I think it just needs to be done on more of a case-by-case basis and just be in line with what their needs are.
I mean, they're saying spending currently for special educational needs nears £13 billion. Is there any figure on how much they think this would save? Just scanning the article.
I don't think that they've given a figure on how much they think it was. I mean, it's a Labour plan, so I wouldn't hold my breath. But I mean, I will say this: if we can't look after our kids, it is time to go home. And I will just say as well, we've got they've given with one hand and taken with the other, haven't they? So they've done all this. We've got breakfast clubs. By the way, these kids with learning difficulties, we're gonna take all their funding.
And I think there's a wider point, Lewis, and you and I both have children of around the same age. There's a wider point that schools are dealing with an awful lot. They're dealing with an awful lot of additional needs, things like ADHD, things like oppositional defiant disorder, all of these conditions which, rightly, we're recognising, but we wouldn't have recognised 10, 20 years ago. Schools would not have been dealing with that. So there's that. The budget, as you say, is spiralling out of control. Schools are dealing with so many referrals. I know so many parents that are having their young children referred for occupational therapy, for this, for this. The school have to manage all of that. But absolutely, if parents have specific special needs, it's sort of what we call special needs, what we can fund, what we can actually kind of cater for. Because if every single child, and that we've seen the growing levels of autism, of ADHD, if every single, or if 90% of children in some schools are going to be diagnosed with these conditions, we have a problem on our hands.
Yep.
You know, when do we say, actually, this is normal? This is my 5-year-old being naughty. This is my 5-year-old being crazy.
The devil is in the detail here. We've got to find out exactly what they're planning to cut, how this is all going to work. Because I don't think in these articles, I don't even know if they know what they're planning to do. But absolutely, if we're getting more rates of kids with autism, kids with different things, actually, does it then make sense to just have one person in the school that deals with all of that? And does that save money? So we kind of need to know what they're planning so that we can say, that's stupid, but this might work.
But Lewis, what's neurodivergent? When everything is neurodivergent, we have to say, actually, it's normal. It's normal, it's not divergent. You can't have a majority of people suddenly, children go through phases, children can be naughty, children can have different learning styles. Do we need to label them? Do we need to refer them?
I have thought for years we should assess how children actually learn and teach them that way. Don't separate them by how they did on one test. Be like, they're visual learners, we're going to teach them how they'll learn. These kids need to move around and do things. So how far do we want to go reinventing the education system?
Or just tell them to sit down and behave themselves?
Not possible for some kids.
OK, just quickly, if either of you
strict
can discuss,
mummy over here.
If either of you can discuss HS2 in 40 seconds, go for it.
OK. HS2, already insane levels of spending on HS2. Let's have... Do any of us know, is it actually happening? Is it finished? Are any bits of it finished? Turns out they're still buying up properties for parts of the line that have been cancelled.
OK, HS2 have said, in the interest of fairness and in line with our legal obligations, we have been clear that Phase 2 property transactions started before the cancellation of this section of HS2. They will be honoured. These acquisitions inevitably take time to complete. Oh, gosh. OK, much more to come. We're taking a short break now for the weather. We'll see you soon.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, Happy New Year. This is your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. It's a cold day today. We have northerly winds bringing Arctic air and also plenty of showers, particularly across parts of Scotland. These readily falling as snow. We're going to see some snow accumulations really building up as we go through the next few days. Also through today, a few spots of showery rain, maybe some sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and perhaps feeding into some central and maybe southern parts of England. Elsewhere, actually, a lot of dry, sunny weather to be had, but temperatures a little bit below average for the time of year and feeling even colder where you're exposed to that brisk northerly wind that's pushing through into the evening. And we're going to continue with showers piling in across northern parts of Scotland. Snow building up. We're talking 20, 30 centimetres perhaps over the highest routes, and with some brisk winds still, we could see some blizzard-like conditions. Also, a few showery bursts of mainly rain across parts of Northern Ireland, perhaps a wintry mix pushing in across parts of Wales, some sleet, some snow over the higher ground, a few spots of rain across some parts of southwest England, but otherwise across much of England really it is going to be a fine end to the day. Clear skies though, allowing temperatures to plummet, so it is going to turn cold, frosty, a harsh frost in quite a few places, just where you've got that breeze coming in from the north and a bit more cloud perhaps towards some western parts. Here temperatures not dropping quite as low, generally staying a few degrees above freezing, but further east, yes, it is going to be cold and frosty tomorrow morning. Watch out, as there is the potential for a front of sorts to bring some rain, sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales and maybe into southern southeastern parts of England as we go through tomorrow morning. That could cause some problems with some icy stretches here and there. Otherwise, actually a lot of fine weather for many, some decent sunshine, just still plenty more snow showers in areas exposed to that northerly wind. Temperatures, if anything, tomorrow are going to be a few degrees down on today, so feeling even colder.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Take extra care on the A9 over Dornoch Bridge, where high winds are making conditions tricky. In Buckinghamshire, the M40 northbound between Junction 2 and Junction 4 has a collision with 3 of 4 lanes shut while crews clear the scene. In Surrey, the A3 southbound at the junctions with the A283 at Milford, and the A33 has a broken down vehicle blocking one of 2 lanes and causing delays. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby. while cross-country reports work in Cambridge and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is your chance to become our biggest cash prize winner to date. £85,000 in totally tax-free cash could be making its way from our bank account to yours. It would be like having over £7,000 per month extra to play with each month for a whole year. That could be you, safe in the knowledge that 2026 is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Good morning and a very happy new year to you. But do you share the Prime Minister's optimism for 2026?
But even more people will feel once again a sense of hope, a belief that things can and will get better.
In his New Year's message, the Prime Minister promised positive changes on the horizon after a turbulent 2025.
Meanwhile, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch also released this positive message for the year ahead.
Britain is not destined for decline. We are a great country full of talent, humour and strength. Things can change, but only if we have a plan for change.
Overnight, London rings in the new year as cities around the globe lit up the night sky with spectacular fireworks to welcome in 2026.
This, we will smash the gangs.
I will do whatever it takes to secure our borders.
In August, I signed the new treaty with France, allowing us for the first time to directly return those who arrive on small boats.
With illegal channel crossings reaching record levels last year, questions remain over why Labour has failed to take sufficient action to turn the situation around. Will this year be any different?
And breaking news, several people have been killed. An explosion in a Swiss ski resort bar in a popular British tourist hotspot in Ballet. We'll have the latest on that breaking story for you.
Also this morning, raising a glass to not raising a glass. Dry January is the beginning for millions of people as participants give up alcohol for the month in a bid to reset after festive season.
And a new year brings new promises, but do New Year's resolutions even inspire a lasting change or just set us up to fail?
And as millions travel home to celebrate New Year's Day, today is widespread disruption on the roads, rail and air inevitable.
This is twisted.
Just the way I like it.
I'm scared! Yes, the fourth series of The Traitors starts tonight on the BBC, hosted by Claudia Winkleman. But really no need to bother watching that, because there's much better stuff on GB News here with us.
A very good morning and a happy new year. It's a huge day at the PDC World Darts Championship as world number one Luke Littler steps out in front of the Ali Pali crowd for the first time since he was booed last Monday. Elsewhere, there are 4 matches in the Premier League with Liverpool and Manchester City in action. And finally, it's that time again as January hits and football clubs have got their checkbooks out. I'll be talking about the very latest transfer speculation.
It's a cold few days to start 2026 and there's some snow around, but will you see any? Well, stay tuned to find out.
It's just gone coming up to 3 minutes past 7 on New Year's Day. I'm Dawn Neeson.
And I'm Sam Francis. This is GB News Breakfast.
Happy New Year to you all. Thank you so much for your company on New Year's Day. Really, really lovely to have you with us and let us know where you're up to, gbnews.com/yoursay. Some of you are still out partying, by the way, Sam Francis.
At 7 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
I saw a few people on the way to work, a few taxis around,
yeah.
A few people spilling out of baths.
Yeah. It's quite busy out we're in central London, obviously. It's quite busy out in central London on the roads. Lots of people staggering back from the fireworks,
Well, I think people probably went home for a couple of hours and think, do you know what, back again, have a few more.
Tell you what, I was in my local last night down in sort of Wimbledon way, Southfields, and I got chatting to someone, and I was saying that the era of kind of, remember when we, not long ago, it was 10, 20, 30 quid to get into your local, that seems to have gone now. It was a kind of millennium thing, wasn't it?
Right, yes.
Exploitative, but I don't think the pubs are busy enough to demand those kind of fees anymore, you know? I mean, most of them were open till about 12:30, 1 o'clock last night. I spoke to one landlord and he said, how many pubs did I go into yesterday? Only 2 or 3, I think it was. But I spoke to one landlord and he said they'd use their discretion to see when it started dying down, then they closed, but they just play it by ear.
It's so important. We've done, how many times have we done that story this year, Sam, about supporting the hospitality industry and how pubs are really being hammered. Many are facing a very uncertain 2026 with businesses closing. And it's just really, I mean...
one pub owner, in fact, yesterday on the programme, 15p a pint he's making.
Was that Mark Bridgen down at the pub in Wigan, was it?
I can't remember, but you just think 15 pence for one
Yeah.
pint. It's just how they survive.
I know. Well, some of them are going to go. More will go this year, there's no question about that.
But we have got a positive message from the Prime Minister saying how it's going to be much better for us.
Change is on the way.
Yes, exactly. If you believe that, let us know, gbnews.com/yoursay. And if you are attempting dry January, we're keen to hear from you as well. In fact, any of your New Year's resolutions, as maybe not the ones that are actually still drinking right now.
Says you.
What?
You're not doing any.
No, I'm not, no. Everything in moderation. Absolutely, come on. Why put that pressure? It's a miserable month. Why put pressure on yourself?
We had a few on Christmas Day, didn't we?
Well, you
got one?
New Year's resolution. No, I haven't. Sorry.
I'm so glad I asked.
I was trying to make up some nonsense.
You had to think about it.
I thought,
what do you think? The second Thursday in January, what's that called?
Oh, you told me. Quit day.
Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day.
Yeah.
And why is it called that, Sam?
Because everyone gives up on the second Thursday of the month.
Exactly.
Statistically.
It waits that long.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
No, I
like
thought it
the
was the
second
2nd of
day of the month, the second hour of the month.
3 p.m. on the 1st, I think. Yeah.
Anyways, let's have a chat about what you're up to today and your resolutions as well. And anything you want to talk about on your screen there, gbnews.com/yoursay. I'll scan the code thingy. OK, now, the Immigration Minister has told GB News he's confident that sweeping changes to immigration policy will allow the UK to make progress in tackling the small boat people smuggling in this year ahead.
In an exclusive interview, Mike Tapp said that the new powers would make it less attractive to come to the UK and easier for authorities to deport illegal arrivals.
His comments come as the number of Channel migrants reaching the UK last year hit 41,500, the second busiest year of small boat crossings on record.
Well, Mark White has this exclusive report for us.
When Sir Keir Starmer came to office, he promised to smash the gangs to end these illegal crossings. 18 months on, by the most obvious measure, the numbers arriving in the UK, he's failed on that key pledge. It has been the second highest year on record. Only poor weather through the whole of November and much of December prevented it surpassing the more than 45,000 who arrived back in 2022. Today is typical of the kind of weather that we've experienced in the Channel all too often lately. It's not exactly blowing a gale, but it's windy enough to churn up the waves and make it impassable for these flimsy migrant dinghies. On the other side of the Channel, there is no slowdown in the numbers arriving in the camps here. For the residents in French towns along the Channel coast, it has been a miserable year. GB News has documented increasing levels of migrant violence and criminality. In the UK, it's not knowing who those arriving here are, what their criminal past might be, that has so many increasingly concerned. A year of highly alarming incidents linked to asylum seekers brought thousands onto the streets, protesting outside migrant accommodation across the country. Despite the growing levels of anger and no sign of any let-up in illegal migrant crossings, the Immigration Minister told us he's confident the government is making progress.
We inherited open borders. We've seen recently sweeping changes to the immigration system to make it less attractive to come here, easier to deport and remove people, and of course counter-terror powers to take on the smuggling gangs, and I'm confident we'll make progress.
A much publicised returns deal with France has so far seen only a very modest number sent back over the Channel. The government says it hopes to expand the programme. And a long-anticipated plan for the French to push migrant boats back onto the beaches has yet to begin, with indications it'll only ever be used in rare cases. The former Director General of Border Force believes Labour has to find a major third country deterrent, like the previous government's Rwanda scheme.
I think for the more difficult countries, we do need a Rwanda-style deterrent, but it has to be a laser-like focus on removals. That's what we need. In my experience, the only way to tackle asylum intake is to say we will detain you when you get here and we will remove you. That's the only message, I'm afraid, that the migrants and the smugglers are going to understand.
Across the year, UK law enforcement managed a number of key arrests and prosecutions of those linked to Channel people smuggling. But despite those successes, it seems to have hardly made a dent on a criminal trade that continues to push ever greater numbers towards the UK. Mark White, GB News, Dover.
It is quite astonishing, isn't it?
41,500.
Yeah. I seem to remember this time last year when you and I were sitting here doing a similar story, and the situation just keeps on getting worse and no one seems to be able to get a handle on
They say they will, but things don't seem to change.
They will. That's their resolution. They will. OK, now the Prime Minister has promised positive change is on the horizon in his New Year message.
Keir Starmer admitted that times, he said, have been hard in Britain, but insisted his government is staying the course to turn things around. Take a listen.
Things have been tough in Britain for a while. For many, life is still harder than it should be. You long for a bit more money in your pockets, a meal out, a holiday, the chance to make a special family moment extra special. In 2026, the choices we've made will mean more people will begin to feel positive change in your bills, your communities, and your health service.
That comes after other political leaders use their annual messages to set their sights on the 2026 local elections, including the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch.
Happy New Year. There is a lot to look forward to this year. No, not Labour's tax rises, but a Winter Olympics, a World Cup, and for political geeks, local elections. Last year was difficult for many people. No growth, higher taxes, and record unemployment, with lots of people losing their jobs. Many in our country are finding it harder and harder to imagine life getting better. But we shouldn't lose hope. Britain is not destined for decline. We are a great country full of talent, humour and strength. Things can change, but only if we have a plan for change.
Well, Keir Starmer there and Kemi Badenoch, just two of the messages that we heard from political leaders. Joining us now, former Mayor of Middlesbrough and political commentator Andy Preston is back with us in the studio. Good morning. Do any of the leaders sound truly genuine It's a message of hope, it's a message of change. It all sounds the same.
It sounded formulaic. They were quite different, weren't they? Keir Starmer, I'll start with Keir Starmer first. It was just awful. He's not a performer, is he? He can't instill that optimism. He doesn't have the energy. And it's dark, it's cold, it's the middle of winter, people are feeling pessimistic. We need to be lifted, and that's not Keir Starmer. He can't do it. Kemi, I thought, was more positive. She smiled more, and it seemed more genuine. There was still a little bit of campaigning in her speech, and I think I would love to see just more genuine optimism, some unbridled passion, excitement about the future, rather than slagging each other off. I don't think the New Year speech worked for Keir Starmer. Kemi Badenoch probably did a bit better.
And it's such an important year. We're going into a year where there's a huge number of elections, all of Scotland, all of Wales, local elections, the ones they haven't actually cancelled, obviously. So it's important that they hit the ground running straight away.
Absolutely. We just need that energy, Dawn. When people are down, we need someone in a leadership position to show that passion, energy, and a real vision for the future. That's what we need, a vision, to believe that there's a way forward when it's dark and cold. And Keir Starmer's certainly not doing that. He doesn't have that ability. He's an administrator, not a leader. And that's the problem.
I mean, two people that did, Zach Palensky and Nigel Farage, they have the personality, but do they have the policies?
Well, if you speak to Zach Palensky's fans and Nigel Farage's fans, they say, yes, they have the policies. The issue is lots of people don't like them. Nigel Farage is very popular, but he's also not liked by a large number. Same for Zach Palensky. I think that where we may head to as we go forward the next year and the year after is that the more centrist, perhaps the Tories, become a little bit more popular month on month, just creeping up the polls because they've got a broader appeal. But we do need that leadership. We shouldn't rely on leaders that have the razzmatazz, the charisma, the showbiz, but unfortunately, that's what the public like, and that's what the public need in tough times. So I don't think that Keir Starmer's going to last more than, well, certainly the local elections in May. He'll be gone.
Turning things local for a moment, what do you think voters will punish the most if things don't change? NHS, borders, budget. Where is the pressure point for the government?
Do you know what I think, Sam? I just think people are generally very frustrated, very sad across the board. Nothing seems to work. And once you get in that mindset, and this might sound like a silly example, you'll go to a restaurant, and if it doesn't work out well at the beginning and they annoy you a bit, nothing they do is right, and you just get more and more cross. And that's the state that our current government is in. Everything they do is wrong. Everything they say is wrong. They can't win this back now. So I don't think there's any one thing. But everyone's unhappy. Everybody senses decline. And in the middle of winter, it's worse, isn't it? It's dark, it's cold, and people feel pessimistic.
Yeah, Andy, thank you very much. And a very Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Ish. Ish.
I mean, the polls, I'm just reading a figure here, the polls do agree. I mean, 36% said 2025 was good for them personally. Only 6% said it was good for the country.
Yeah.
That's a miserable outlook.
And there's an also interesting poll today where they're asking 12-year-olds, because Labour are thinking, excuse me, of getting 16-year-olds to be able to vote. So the
12-year-olds
12-year-olds in 4 years' time, when there's an election, will be eligible to vote. And they were asked their opinions of how well Keir Starmer and Labour were doing. And it wasn't good.
No.
Well, there was one 12-year-old girl who said, well, they just lie about everything.
Oh, my word.
She's 12.
That doesn't sound good for the future, does it?
Not at all.
Wow, we're in trouble. But actually, I think we're a great country. I think we have loads of talent here. We just need a leader who'll help bring out the best in us. We can do so well.
Exactly. I like that positivity. Thank you very much. That's our political commentator, Andy Preston there. Thank you very much. OK.
Well, millions of people across the UK are set to kick off the new year alcohol-free, brave people, as Dry January continues to grow in popularity.
Now, according to Alcohol Change UK, a record 1 in 3 Brits plan to take part in the challenge, highlighting a nationwide shift towards healthier habits.
So, is the country's relationship with alcohol changing? Good question. To answer it, hopefully, we're joined by the founder of Sober Socials, Michael Sargood. Good morning to you. Happy New Year.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Dry January.
Yep.
Good idea, bad idea? How do you do it? How do you get through it?
It's a great idea for those who want to take part. Look, no one's going to force you to do it. If someone forces you to stop drinking, it's called an intervention or a court order. So you're only going to do Dry January by choice. And if if you want to do it and you want to actually enjoy it, which is possible, then I think it just requires a bit of planning. I've done dry January a couple of times with varying degrees of success. I did it a few years ago. I got through it, was miserable because I just kept on going out to the pub still with friends who were drinking, and it just felt like I was nominated driver for the whole month. I was the only person who didn't enjoy themselves. I was the last one to bed. I'd taken them all home. I'd cleaned up the sick, and I had a miserable month. And I haven't drunk for nearly 5 years now. Wow. I tried dry January 5 years ago again, and I lasted 3 days because at that point I was actually alcohol dependent. It was a really bad choice. It was dangerous, actually. If you're alcohol dependent and you just stop, you can have terrible withdrawals. So there is a tool. If you go onto the Alcohol Change website or you download the Try Dry app, then you can test your drinking levels to just check it's safe for you to stop drinking. And that time I did really miserably. And I then tried again. I got some external support, and the next time I tried, the tools are still there. You can actually do dry January any time of year. You can use the same tools on the app, and you could do it in the middle of March. Or
How do you tell for a start? I mean, lots of people think, right, I do drink too much and I binge drink, etc., etc. Certainly at this time of year. How do you tell when your drinking is becoming dangerous? What's the one sign that you really do maybe need to consider stopping?
I don't think there's one sign, and when you're assessed, there's like a scoring system, and it's done less on the amount you're drinking and what you're drinking, and more on the impact it's having on your life. Right. So, are you having to cancel plans? Are you turning up at work late or getting in trouble at work? What's your mood like? Because it's a depressive. If you're drinking gallons of a depressant, you might feel great at the beginning of it, but what do you feel like when you're not drinking? And do you sweat and shake sort of at night? I mean, those are real signs. For me, it was a slippery slope. I used to be a binge drinker. I started then going out with a friend who liked to drink on Thursdays because the theory was nobody expects you to do any work on a Friday. So now I'm drinking from Thursday till Sunday. That's more than half the week. And then I'd occasionally go out in the middle of the week, and then before you know it, if I wasn't drinking, I was just shaking. I'd got DTs, and so then I was just having a couple of drinks on a Monday and Tuesday to stop the shakes, to see me through to the weekend. And I ended up losing my driving licence, losing my job, and actually when I lost my driving licence and job, I was suspended for a good while. So I never had any driving commitments. That was one of the things that kept me from not drinking. Was like I might need to drive later, and I still had money coming in, but nothing to do. So that is when I just completely slipped into dependency, and it's so easy to do. And so I just had to completely change my life in the end. Most people who are doing dry January will not be in this situation. They might just drink occasionally, or they drink too much over Christmas.
Change, long term, or is it just a quick health kick for 31 days?
Well, for some people, it'll be a challenge. It's like, well, I can't remember the last time I didn't drink for a month. Let's see what that's like. I feel like rubbish. I'm broke because I've spent all the money on food and alcohol over Christmas. Let's give my liver a break. I mean, because there are some benefits from just taking 30 days off. It will improve your mood. It can improve your liver function. It reduces your blood pressure. And long term, if you take longer breaks, the cancer risk. I mean, alcohol causes at least 7 types of cancer we know about, including breast cancer. People don't know that. It's a leading cause of breast cancer. And so some people try it and then think, actually, I think I do feel better at the end of the month. It might have been a bit difficult to adapt to. It might have been felt a bit rubbish getting it all out of my system, because it takes you a week to detox. And during that period, you can feel terrible.
Michael, Sober Socials is you're the founder of that. Because a lot of people, talking of being social, are worried about what they're going to fill their life with if they don't socialise with alcohol.
That was the big issue for me when I stopped drinking, is I just didn't know how to socialise without it. And I'd find myself, just because I've been doing it for years, all through the week, I'd be looking forward to Friday. It's like, oh my God, it's nearly Friday. I was like, oh, well, what do I do now? Well, I can go to the pub and look after everyone until they're in bed. It was miserable. So there's a big sort of sober movement now. Young people in particular, a lot of them are choosing not to drink. Like 1 in 4 18 to 25-year-olds just don't drink out of choice. And it's older people who are drinking more. So retirees are one of the biggest groups of drinkers, sargalouts as some people like to call them. So there are young people who are finding different ways to socialise, and people in my age group, there's sober clubbing events. I've been to like House of Happiness in London. There's every couple of months, and everybody goes there during the day, which is great for people like me. I have to travel into London. I can meet a load of friends who go there. Great alcohol-free drinks and cocktails, and that's a massive market now, is alcohol-free drinks. If there's an alcoholic drink, there's an alcohol-free equivalent that tastes as good. It might not be the big brands because they tend to just put their name on absolute rubbish and it tastes disgusting. But there's lots of independent brands that specialise in alcohol-free and they taste really good. And you can go out, you can go clubbing, you come home, have a cup of tea, dinner, and still go to bed. I think this is still growing.
And how do people get in touch with Sober Socials?
Just Google it and you'll find your way.
Google it and you'll find your way. Thank you very much for coming in. That's Michael Sargood there, who's the founder of Sober Socials. Thank you very much for coming in.
My biggest issue is getting over sugar. Worst withdrawal ever, getting off sugar. You wouldn't believe.
Do you not have sugar now at all?
Well, no, I need to stop having sugar.
Oh, right, OK, you haven't quite
I've tried it before and
yet.
failed miserably. Anyway.
I'm giving up nothing, to be honest with you. But, hey, everything in moderation in my world at the moment. OK. Weather. We do talk about the weather a lot. Maybe that could be the resolution too, because it's pretty grim and cold out there today. Let's have a look at the details with Alex Burkill for you.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, Happy New Year. This is your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. It's a cold day today. We have northerly winds bringing Arctic air and also plenty of showers, particularly across parts of Scotland. These readily falling as snow. We're going to see some snow accumulations really building up as we go through the next few days. Also through today, a few spots of showery rain, maybe some sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and perhaps feeding into some central and maybe southern parts of England. Elsewhere, actually, a lot of dry, sunny weather to be had, but temperatures a little bit below average for the time of year and feeling even colder where you're exposed to that brisk northerly wind that's pushing through into the evening. And we're going to continue with showers piling in across northern parts of Scotland. Snow building up. We're talking 20, 30 centimetres perhaps over the highest routes, and with some brisk winds still, we could see some blizzard-like conditions. Also, a few showery bursts of mainly rain across parts of Northern Ireland, perhaps a wintry mix pushing in across parts of Wales, some sleet, some snow over the higher ground, a few spots of rain across some parts of southwest England, but otherwise across much of England really it is going to be a fine end to the day. Clear skies though, allowing temperatures to plummet, so it is going to turn cold, frosty, a harsh frost in quite a few places, just where you've got that breeze coming in from the north and a bit more cloud perhaps towards some western parts. Here temperatures not dropping quite as low, generally staying a few degrees above freezing, but further east, yes, it is going to be cold and frosty tomorrow morning. Watch out, as there is the potential for a front of sorts to bring some rain, sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and maybe into southern southeastern parts of England as we go through tomorrow morning. That could cause some problems with some icy stretches here and there. Otherwise, actually a lot of fine weather for many, some decent sunshine, just still plenty more snow showers in areas exposed to that northerly wind. Temperatures, if anything, tomorrow are going to be a few degrees down on today, so feeling even colder.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
I can't remember a New Year where there hasn't been a yellow weather warning, hail, snow, wind.
I remember New Year's where there were no coloured warnings, it was just winter.
Wrap up warm.
Back in the day. Yeah, be careful out there, folks. OK, but if you are in search of a great British giveaway, because that's what we've got coming up for you now, so you can travel all over the world next year, because it's a lot of money, isn't it? £85,000 in cash to kick off your new year. Here's all the details you need.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to splash on anything you can dream of. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. £85,000 is the biggest cash prize we've ever given away. It's totally tax-free, which means that that every single penny of it will be yours. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. The winner may be contacted live on GB News, week commencing the 9th of February 2026. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the
because
failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back, 7:30. Let's just bring you a recap then of that breaking news we discussed in the last hour or so from Switzerland, where an explosion has reportedly taken place at a popular ski resort. Many injured, according to police there, and no-fly zone has also been imposed. That resort popular with British tourists. At this stage, we don't yet know what caused the explosion. It appears it may have been due to fireworks over New Year's Eve celebrations. 100 people believed to have been inside that bar, at least, at the time of the explosion. Swiss police saying the area is now completely closed off. Hospitals in the area also reportedly saying they are overwhelmed with burn victims. So a deteriorating situation, and it appears that the fire brigade in the region are still tackling that fire. It hasn't yet been put out.
No, the explosion happened at around 1:30 at midnight GMT in a bar called La Constellation. The cause of the explosion isn't known yet, but as I said, there is speculation about fireworks. We don't know if there are any British casualties yet, but it's a serious situation that is developing. We're bringing more on that story as and when we have it, but a major emergency response is still underway on that story. OK, as I said, we will bring you more on that story as and when we have it, OK? It is now 7:32 coming up, and it is New Year's Day. That's terrible news to start it, but we also are covering the lighter stories of the day, including, obviously, Showbiz. And we have the wonderful Stephanie Tecci back in the studio with us, which is always a pleasure. What on earth have you broken your
So excited about the entertainment news, I've just snapped my pen.
And
that's how much I love traitors.
Steph is here to talk about Showbiz and traitors in particular.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, lovely.
Obviously, we want the viewers to stay on GB News, but the traitors, come on, a lot of people were speaking about it last year. It was one of the most watched shows. It was drawing in around 12 million viewers a night. Today, it's back. It's not back with the celebrity version, but the normal contestant version, where 22 contestants are either going to be a faithful or a traitor, all in a bid to get £120,000 at the end of the show.
Has that prize pot increased as the series have gone on?
It has, because there's more money being invested into this show. It's becoming more lucrative. People are literally hanging off the edge of their seats watching this show. It's definitely done well for the BBC, and it's a good test of instincts, whether you can tell someone's being truthful or not.
Don't look at me like that. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't saying anything. I'm not about to kill you like you've just done to your pen. You don't know your own strength. But I mean, I watched the celebrity version. That's the one I've only ever watched, which Alan Carr won. And, yeah, it is addictive.
It is. I think, to be honest, like, reality TV shows this year, it's like we've kind of seen and done it all with reality TV. But The Traitors, I mean, you know, it's been a very fresh format for TV, which I think a lot of people love. And obviously seeing Claudia Winkleman in the role has done amazing as well.
I think there's something about feeling like, as a viewer, you could play the game.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's so addictive.
I would hate to be a traitor, though, because I find it so hard to lie. So I don't know how these people actually do it.
I'm getting the impression you'd quite like to be a traitor.
No, I'm not saying either.
No,
well, I wouldn't tell you if I did,
exactly.
would I? That is the game.
That's the point. You'd be rather good at it. But talking of Claudia Winkleman, a format that maybe has gone past its sell-by date, Strictly Come Dancing, what's happening there?
So obviously this year the big thing is who is going to replace Claudia and Tess. There's been names out there like Alison Hammond, Paddy McGuinness, Alan Carr, but obviously they've said it's a day for them, for Claudia and Tess, so I think this year a big thing is who are going to be the new two hosts that's going to replace them. Strictly has been plagued with controversy, so you're going to need two new hosts who can really carry the show and make viewers love them as well. So they've got glamorous shoes to fill.
Steph Tecci, I think. Very glamorous, looking gorgeous, looking fabulous. And a brilliant TV presenter. I mean, it's an absolute shoe-in.
Manifest for 26.
It's coming. It's coming.
Stephanie Tecci, thank you so much. Brilliant to have you back. OK. Still to come, your latest sports news with Aidan McGee and what does 2026 hold in store for my beloved West Ham? I don't really want to answer that question.
Relegation, perhaps?
You're not helping. Really not helping. This is GB... I'm going to kill you in a minute, traitor style. This is GB News Breakfast with Dawn and Sam. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. High winds are affecting crossings on the A9 Dornoch Bridge, so take care and allow extra time. In Essex, the M11 northbound at Junction 6 has a collision with one lane closed. Conditions should ease after around 9:01 this morning. In Surrey, the M25 clockwise between Junction 5 and Junction 6 has a broken down vehicle blocking one of 4 lanes, with traffic expected to settle after about 7:33 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country reports engineering work around Cambridge and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're
the failure is...
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Just to recap then, at coming up to 20 minutes to 8, that breaking news from Switzerland, where we now have confirmation of at least 10 people dead after that explosion at a Swiss ski resort, where there has now been a no-fly zone put in place at that resort. The bar is called Crans-Montana, popular tourist hotspot Valais, and we have details of a helpline.
Yes, we do. Obviously, lots of people are on holiday at the moment. If you are worried about friends and family you have on holiday in the Swiss ski resort of Crans-Montana, there is a helpline that's been set up, and the telephone number for concerned families and friends is +41 848 112 117. That's +41 848 112 117. So if you are concerned about loved ones who are on holiday in Switzerland at the moment, that is the number you need to call.
We'll keep you updated, of course, on any developments as well and recap that number for you later this hour. Now, though, let's turn to sports news back here at home. Aidan McGee back with us in the studio. I won't say Happy New Year again.
No, we've done it 3 times, I think. Yeah, it is. I mean, we're several hours into the new year now. It's, you know, it's been...
I'm going to carry on saying it all day. Come on. Happy New Year, everybody, especially if you're just waking up.
Look, well, I'm going to go back to something Simon Calder said earlier on. He will never tire of telling you how difficult it is to get around at this time of year. It's not just internationally, but also domestically. And that's why we see a relatively localised fixture list around this time of year. So, for example, Crystal Palace playing Fulham, relatively local, London derby, Brentford and Tottenham, 8 o'clock tonight, and even in the EFL, a full programme of EFL matches as well in the Championship, League One, League Two, AFC Wimbledon, for example, just going over to East London. I mean, that might take a while actually, but even so, it's relatively localised. And so, as I say, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Liverpool versus Leeds. Leeds in good form. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the player who wore a dress a few years ago in a photo shoot. Everyone's forgiven him for that because he's scored a few goals now. Looks like he's keeping Leeds in the league. Liverpool ensconced in that top 4 now, Sam, looking ominous. For all the problems they've had this year with Mo Salah and his outburst, and he's gone to AFCON now, he's kind of out of the way, but quietly getting along with their business. If they beat Leeds today, they go further into the top 4, which would be great for them and gives them a springboard for January onwards. Man City, on the coattails of Arsenal today, they travelled to Sunderland. Dawn was relieved that West Ham are not going to be playing today.
I'm feeling victimised here. Yes, we're not. We're not playing today, thank God.
And
Actually, we haven't played most of the season, so it doesn't make much difference.
No,
to be
true.
honest
And
with you.
Thomas Frank, the Tottenham manager, goes back to Brentford for the 8 o'clock kickoff tonight. I'll be heading over to QPR to watch us play Norwich. Not sure how that works out in terms of localised fixture, because Norwich fans out of a good 3.5-hour trip to get to Loftus Road. But I want to talk about the transfers as well.
Yes.
£498 million spent this time last year. The signs are so far, Dawn, that it's going to go above that.
Wow.
Sam was asking me, well, is that double over the summer then? And I said, no, this is a small window. This is a month. In the summer, it's 3 months, so it could easily go over £1 billion in the summer. In fact, it has done in the past. Antoine Semenyo looks like he's going to head to Manchester City for £65 million. That's his release clause. Now, everyone thinks this bloke is a foreigner from Africa because of his name and because he plays internationally for the Ivory Coast. What's interesting is that he was born in Chelsea, he grew up in Wandsworth. He played for I've got it down here, South Gloucestershire and Stroud College.
Oh, wow.
It's an extraordinary tale. And he's gone to Bath City, then Bristol City.
Now worth £65 million.
Well, that's just the release clause. I mean, he's actually worth more than that. The reason there's a queue of clubs to sign him is because they think he's cheap at that price. That's what his contract states. That's what you can get him out of Bournemouth for. And they're in well, not in talks, but they're interested in Brennan Johnson at Tottenham, who scored the winner in the Europa League earlier in the year. Crystal Palace also interested in him at £35 million. West Ham, if you're a West Ham fan, I'd be disappointed to miss out on Nathan Ake. He doesn't want to go there from Manchester City. 30 years old.
I can't think why that would be the case.
I know, and it's a shame because he's only played 8 games this season, so it'd be he's relatively fresh.
Yeah.
Just want to touch as well on Rory McIlroy not getting a knighthood. Seems very strange to me, given that he completed the career Grand Slam. Torvill and Dean have been given a damehood and knighthood. Serena Wiegmann, the England Lionesses manager, has given an honorary damehood because she's of course Dutch. Leah Williamson Lioness has been given a CB. Nothing though for Chloe Kelly, who scored the winner in the Euros this year and in 2022.
I can't get my head around how they decide who gets what.
I think it's to get us talking.
Indeed. Aidan, thank you very much indeed. Aidan, we'll see you next time around. OK, now, still to come, we are going to be going through today's newspapers with Emma Wolfe and Lewis Oakley, who are cosy on our sofas over there. Good morning and Happy New Year to you. But first, if you are in search of some holiday sun, here's a forecast for those top European destinations.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Plenty of heavy and thundery rain across parts of southern Europe as we go through into the weekend. There's Storm Francis, which is heading towards Spain and Portugal, bringing heavy and thundery rain here. Also some heavy rain across parts of Italy, Slovenia, Hungary, Croatia, and the risk of some significant hill snow building up in parts as well. Into the weekend, well, there will be some dry weather around, but also further rain at times too. I'll see you later.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
What I've discovered is that a comet that was observed by the Chinese in 5 BC, I put together the information from their observation to come up with an orbit that would take this particular comet very, very close to the Earth. And as it passed the Earth, probably about the distance to the moon, a position on the rotating Earth would have seen the comet pause for a period of hours over a location. We have the same thing now with the geosynchronous satellite. If you stand at the equator, there are geosynchronous satellites that stay over your head 24/7. This comet was so close to the Earth that it would have had the brightness of like a first quarter or full moon. So it would have been clearly visible in the daylight.
So it would have been easier for them to follow. And how quickly would they have had to have travelled? Could they have travelled fast enough to keep up with it?
Well, it would have been a direction. So it turns out it takes 2 or 3 hours to walk from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. It's a relatively short distance. And that's the period of time where it behaved like this for those few hours. So there was the time available. Now, of course, their trip from the east it would have taken many weeks. And the Chinese said the comet was visible in the constellation Capricorn for more than 70 days. And it's that appearance in one constellation for an extended period. Pilots know this. If you see an object in the sky while you're flying a plane, and it's not moving left, right, or up, down, it's actually on a collision course, or nearly so, with you. So the comet was heading more or less directly towards the Earth until, at least in my theory, they arrived in Jerusalem and walked that distance from Jerusalem to Bethlehem.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back, 7:47. We're going to dive straight in to the front pages, what's making the news this morning. Joining us back in the studio, journalist, author Emma Wolfe, and broadcaster and podcast host Lewis Oakley. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Again. We were just saying, actually, that news was a little bit dry on the front pages this morning, but there is an interesting story on the Daily Mail, Emma.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, secret meetings have been going on amongst various members of the Cabinet Office. And for those of us who are, in fact, I think a majority of the country, who are slightly wary or opposed to digital ID, I think this one is going to raise some concerns. There's apparently been these secret meetings to discuss lifelong digital identities to be issued to children, to babies at birth. So this is following the kind of Estonian model, which is the blueprint for Labour. In Estonia, they issue a unique number for every infant at birth. It basically gives you access to public services. It tracks you throughout your life, which to me raises the question immediately, you know, hang on a minute, you're going to need this for your vaccines, for school, for every single, for access to the NHS, all of this. How will this work? Will it be mandatory? And it is very, very alarming that the plans for digital ID that were opposed by so many, I mean, millions of people signed that petition for digital ID, and that was pretty much ignored. The idea that they're going to start, that they're kind of steamrolling through that and actually thinking about doing this from birth.
I mean, is it any different to a birth certificate, a national insurance number, everything else we get issued? I mean...
It is, actually.
It is, because everything is tied together. I mean, first of all, what you're saying is absolutely right. I thought that when the digital ID conversation came up, it was so refreshing to see left and right come together. You had Jeremy Corbyn and Nigel Farage basically standing in unison saying, no, 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 no. And it's right, these people are too, A, incompetent to run something like this, and B, it's just too dangerous for something we don't really need. What part of our life is going to be made better by digital ID? What part of our life doesn't work now? When kids are born, they have their red books, like they have numbers anyway. But this idea of linking everything together is far too dangerous in a world where, look what they can do without it. Look at the people that have been debanked already.
Yes.
Look at what happened with the Canadian truckers when they said, no, we don't want to have this vaccine for whatever reason. They were able to shut off their bank accounts. If we have digital ID, they can start to say, well, you didn't do this, so we're going to shut this off. You're going to, you know, we don't need anyone with that kind of power. We just don't need it. I don't understand what the benefit is. This idea, oh, well, we're doing it to curb illegal immigration. Well, you could do that anyway.
Well, it's not going to curb illegal
lie.
Immigration. It's about having all of the information in one place online, which, as you say, is a major, major privacy and security risk.
You've got to, obviously, when you're talking about this, be careful. I'm being very careful about how far I go, because you don't want to seem like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but there is no limit to what could be done if this comes in, to the power that gives government over us. That is not right.
It is slightly worrying when you sort of like they don't have that much faith in the government. I mean, talking of vaccines, which is linked to this story, obviously Lewis in The Guardian today, home visit vaccines to boost the uptake, children to be offered vaccines in their own homes.
Yeah, so, well, this is interesting. So, accessibility is good. So, I think the idea of, like, them being like, well, if you can't get to us, we will come to you, in principle is fine. I think that we have to look at why there's been a decline in these vaccines, and I think COVID did not help. Actually forcing people has had an adverse effect, and I think that we need to look at that. But at a certain point, you can educate people, but you have to trust people to make decisions about themselves and their children. And if they have chosen for whatever reason to not get something, showing up at their door is not going to help with that. It's going to feel like more forcing. And I think learning the lessons from COVID, don't be forceful. Give people the facts, let them make their own decisions. If they struggle for whatever reason from an accessibility point to come to you and get the vaccine, then that sounds good. But I mean, just this is about the proper vaccines. But even with the flu jab and my kids, I've honestly been hounded over that. I mean, endless amounts of texts. They called us in to have my son's vaccines, actually, his 3-year-old vaccines, and we got there and they said, oh, no, you're a week too early for those, but we'll give you the flu jab while you're here. Like, what are you talking about? What kind of service are you running here? So I do think we have to have a good line of, this is the facts, this is why you should do it, we'll help you if you can't get here, but not hounding people because it has the adverse effects.
This seems very odd. The reason that people aren't taking up their vaccines are either that they don't believe in them, and that's another issue altogether, it's about educating them, or that they're just not bothering. Many parents are just not bothering. You need to be able to get your child to a GP anyway. I don't think there's anyone that can't get their child to a GP, and if they couldn't, that would be arranged for them. My 5-year-old had his flu vaccines in school. They did them in school.
That's what I remember, having vaccinations in school.
They did a little spray up the nose recently, and we had to sign consent forms. So I think this home vaccine idea.
Well, I guess there's more and more kids that are being homeschooled. So maybe that's part of it.
Oh, but that's very, ambitious middle-class parents. They will get their children to the GP. Any child can get sick and needs to go to the GP. This does not make sense.
Quickly on the cost on this. I mean, if you're older, like me, you will remember when you had home visits from doctors.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had them for a long time.
Yeah.
To suddenly reintroduce them for vaccines? Where's
very,
that money
very
coming
odd.
from?
The families that are not taking up vaccines, that the mandatory vaccines that every child needs, measles, mumps, MMR, all of that stuff. The reason that it's not that they can't get to the GP surgery.
Well, this is the thing.
They're not really engaging.
Treating the wrong symptom, aren't they? They really need to treat the education point, and they're making the case for why you should have them.
Because the uptake is low. The uptake is low, and they're very worried. They need to get it to those critical points. Yeah.
Indeed, thank you very much, you two. We'll see you again in the next hour for more of those stories from the newspapers.
Now, though, time for the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, Happy New Year. This is your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. It's a cold day today. We have northerly winds bringing Arctic air and also plenty of showers, particularly across parts of Scotland. These readily falling as snow. We're going to see some snow accumulations really building up as we go through the next few days. Also through today, a few spots of showery rain, maybe some sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and perhaps feeding into some central and maybe southern parts of England. Elsewhere, actually, a lot of dry, sunny weather to be had, but temperatures a little bit below average for the time of year and feeling even colder where you're exposed to that brisk northerly wind that's pushing through into the evening. And we're going to continue with showers piling in across northern parts of Scotland. Snow building up. We're talking 20, 30 centimetres perhaps over the highest routes. And with some brisk winds still, we could see some blizzard-like conditions. Also, a few showery bursts of mainly rain across parts of Northern Ireland, perhaps a wintry mix pushing in across parts of Wales, some sleet, some snow over the higher ground, a few spots of rain across some parts of southwest England, but otherwise across much of England really it is going to be a fine end to the day. Clear skies though, allowing temperatures to plummet, so it is going to turn cold, frosty, a harsh frost in quite a few places, just where you've got that breeze coming in from the north and a bit more cloud perhaps towards some western parts. Here temperatures not dropping quite as low, generally staying a few degrees above freezing, but further east, yes, it is going to be cold and frosty tomorrow morning. Watch out as there is the potential for a front of sorts to bring some rain, sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales and maybe into southern southeastern parts of England as we go through tomorrow morning. That could cause some problems with some icy stretches here and there. Otherwise, actually a lot of fine weather for many, some decent sunshine, just still plenty more snow showers in areas exposed to that northerly wind. Temperatures, if anything, tomorrow are going to be a few degrees down on today, so feeling even colder.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 10 million followers across our social media platforms. We're truly honoured to have your trust, one follower at a time.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Road users should take extra care on the A9 at the Dornoch Bridge, where high winds are making driving conditions difficult, especially for high-sided vehicles and anyone towing trailers, with the risk of sudden gusts. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton, also affecting services to and from Rugby, with some timetable changes and possible replacement transport. Cross Country is reporting major engineering work in the Cambridge area, plus disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield, so allow extra time and check before you travel. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We want to make the new year your best year yet, with a chance to win our greatest cash prize to date. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash could be yours. Treat the family to that bucket list holiday you've always fancied. Get your dream car you've always wanted. Or just relax, safe in the knowledge that the coming year is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
A really important thing about GB News, and it's brought something completely different to the landscape.
The mainstream is all about keeping the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
GB News exists because there is a desperate need for fearless journalism that puts the people first.
GB News came on the scene as a disruptor, and it has always been a disruptor ever since.
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, the reality is that most British journalists are afraid. That's not GB News.
Journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience.
We're here to talk about things in a way that have never been broadcast on British Airways before.
Do not miss a moment on GB News.
The #1 news channel in the country.
Good morning and a very happy new year to you. But do you share the Prime Minister's optimism for 2026?
But even more people will feel once again a sense of hope, a belief that things can and will get better.
Just a piece there of his New Year's message, where the Prime Minister promised positive change is on the horizon after a turbulent 2025.
Meanwhile, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch also released this positive message for the year ahead.
Is not destined for decline. We are a great country full of talent, humour and strength. Things can change, but only if we have a plan for change.
Overnight, London rang in the new year in style as cities around the globe lit up the night sky with spectacular fireworks, all to welcome in 2026.
This, we will smash the gangs.
I will do whatever it takes to secure our borders.
In August, I signed the new treaty with France, allowing us for the first time to directly return those who arrive on small boats.
With illegal channel crossings reaching record levels in 2025, questions remain over why Labour has failed to take sufficient action to turn the situation around. Will this year be any different?
Breaking news: an explosion this morning reported at a Swiss ski resort in Valais, a popular tourist hotspot for Brits. At least 10 people now known to have died and a no-fly zone imposed over the area.
And raising a glass to not raising a glass dry January is beginning for millions of people today as participants give up alcohol for the month in a bid to reset after the festive season.
Well, a new year brings big promises, but do New Year's resolutions really inspire lasting change or just set us up to fall short?
And as millions travel home to celebrate New Year's Day, is widespread disruption inevitable?
This is twisted.
Just the way I like it.
I'm scared!
Yes, it's the fourth series of The Traitors starting tonight on the BBC, hosted, of course, by Claudia Winkleman, but there's no need to watch that. Plenty of better stuff right here on GB News.
Good morning and a happy new year. It's a huge day at the PDC World Darts Championship as world number one Luke Littler steps out in front of the Ali Pali crowd for the first time since he was booed last Monday. Elsewhere, there are 4 matches in the Premier League with Liverpool and Manchester City in action. And finally, it's that time again as January hits and football clubs have got their checkbooks out. I'll be talking about the very latest transfer news.
It's a cold few days to start 2026 and there's some snow around, but will you see any? Well, stay tuned to find out.
It is 3 minutes past 8. I'm Dawn Neeson.
And I'm Sam Francis, and this is GB News Breakfast.
And a very, very happy new year to you. Hope you're having a peaceful morning so far. Some of you, from what we hear, are still getting back from your nights out. To be honest with you, more staying power than we have.
How late is too late?
What were you up to last night, then, young Sam Francis?
I was very well behaved. I was doing the news until about 9 o'clock and then went home, hosted a little dinner party. Very low-key, very civilised. A few drinks.
Yeah, what were you doing? You were being very good.
Now I'm here, the rest is a blur.
Exactly, yeah, blurs have come sometimes. But you were actually being very good. You were drinking cocktails rather than...
nothing too heavy.
Nothing too heavy as well. And, of course, Aidan McGee, being a sports supremo, is a fitness god. Aidan, you were in bed very early and being
quite
good.
early. Well, I was on with Ben Leo on the Farage show last night at 7:30. Busy couple of days for me, though. I was at West Brom watching QPR, and on the way back, I thought, shall I go to Cadbury's World in Birmingham? Not a great place for a type 1 diabetic, but instead I went to Bicester Village where I got a designer shirt for £29. What a bargain. Very
nice. Wow. So
even the queues were worth it for that.
So it was busy, was it? So people were out shopping?
Me, it was unbelievable. Yeah, we had to get the park and ride bus to the centre, which I've never actually done before, but every shop was probably at least 6 deep.
So it's
and it's freezing cold as well.
Well, yeah, that's it. But it's interesting because we're not going to the high streets. We are going to out-of-town shopping centres more.
Well, look, it's just easier to park there. If you make all these town centres impossible to park, then people aren't going to go. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. At least with a park and ride, I can still park there. I can still travel from 2 hours away.
Take all the stuff that you've bought back to the boots.
Exactly.
Get in the car and away you go.
Exactly. And the bus, to be fair, every 2 or 3 minutes takes 2 minutes to get to where you want to go. It wasn't that bad.
Well, let us know what you're up to this morning. gbnews.com/your say. Are you recovering? Were you good like us last night? Are you going shopping today? Just let us know what you're up to. Have a chat about any of the subjects we're discussing today. Now, the Prime Minister has promised positive change is on the horizon in his New Year message.
Keir Starmer admitted, though, that times have been hard, he said, in Britain over the past year, but he insisted the government is staying the course to turn things around.
Things have been tough in Britain for a while. For many, life is still harder than it should be. You long for a bit more money in your pockets, a meal out, a holiday. The chance to make a special family moment extra special. In 2026, the choices we've made will mean more people will begin to feel positive change in your bills, your communities, and your health service.
It comes after other political leaders use their annual messages to set their sights on the 2026 local elections, including Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch. Have a listen.
Happy New Year. There is a lot to look forward to this year. No, not Labour's tax rises, but a Winter Olympics, a World Cup, and for political geeks, local elections. Last year was difficult for many people. No growth, higher taxes, and record unemployment, with lots of people losing their jobs. Many in our country are finding it harder and harder to imagine life getting better. But we shouldn't lose hope. Britain is not destined for decline. We are a great country full of talent, humour and strength. Things can change, but only if we have a plan for change.
Well, just two of the political messages there from Sir Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch. To discuss them, joined now by political commentator John Oxley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Very happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Do they really believe that people are actually listening to those messages? Who are they aimed at?
I think a lot of them are really aimed at their own party. It's about getting your membership enthused. It's about getting your voters enthused. But it's also, it's one of those things that political leaders are now expected to do, and they do these things, they put them out on social media. But yeah, I'm not sure who's sitting there as the clock countdown, champagne in hand, thinking, I want to hear from the leader of the opposition or I want to hear from the Prime Minister. But, it's about exactly what we're doing today as well. There's not much news on the 1st of January, so they start to get picked up by news discussions, and we do start to see a bit more of our leaders because they get spread around like that.
It is an important year for politics, though, isn't it? So they do need to hit the ground running, all of them. We've got elections in Wales, elections in Scotland, local elections all over the country, the ones that haven't obviously been cancelled. So they've got a lot to prove, all of them this year.
Yes, there really is. We're getting now into sort of the second, going to the third year of this Parliament. Got big elections, as you say, in Wales and in Scotland. Both of the whole government's there, and lots of local council elections, a slightly different map of local council elections this year, particularly for Labour. There's a lot of local elections in urban centres inside the big cities, London in particular, having its council elections. That's going to be a huge test for Labour and, of course, for Keir Starmer as well.
Speaking of Sir Keir Starmer, if you had to write that message on New Year, what would you have covered? Ooh. What would be in that message?
That is a very difficult challenge. I think, really some of the things he talked about trying to position this view that they've made some hard decisions in the early years and hopefully trying to say that those are going to pay off, particularly talking about the changes around immigration, how that's going to impact on the numbers, how they're hoping it will deal with the small boats. I think what you've really got to try and sell, if you're Keir Starmer, is that view that, look, this has been hard, but that's been the early work. The question now is it going to pay off in the way that the Labour Party hold? Because you can say it's going to pay off as much as you want in your New Year message, but people are looking at their local area, they're looking at the statistics that come out, and they're going to want to see some proof when you've been in power.
17 months
17
now.
months, yeah. In the summer it'll be 2 years. That's a big point after an election, really, that 2-year point.
Yeah, it's 17 months and 66 billion in tax raids on us. I mean, that is going some. How long can Rachel Reeves survive, let alone her boss?
I think one of the big challenges for Rachel Reeves is going to be the local elections. I think all of the Labour Party will be looking at those quite worried about what's going on. I think, there's questions whether Keir Starmer survives that. If he doesn't, then Rachel Reeves may be the person who gets sacrificed. But also on the public spending side, there's that other question of all this money has been raised. When are we going to see it starting to take effect? When are we going to see the improvements? Because one of the things Labour are going to hope to be saying is, look, we had to do that, but now the waiting lists are shorter, the streets are cleaner, the schools are getting better. At the moment, we've not been really seeing that. So that's going to be the real test for Labour this year, I think, because that kind of buys them some excuse for some of that revenue raising.
Were there any big issues that were missed, dodged across the board in various different political parties' messages over the new year?
I'm not sure. I think there's always things that get left out. I think these messages tend to be, not particularly combative. So some of the more cultural issues they kind of steered away from, but I think that's to be expected.
Just sprinkling hope and a bit of hope for change.
Yeah, you don't want... no one wants to start the new year off with a big row, and I think that's the message of those. And it's also, I think, quite nice in our politics that sometimes have those grounding moments where you come around and say, look, at the end of the day, we do all want what we think is best for the country. We disagree on that, but the important thing is we do want to at least try to make your lives better, however you vote and whatever's going on in your life. And it's important to sort of remember that at the start of the year.
How worried do you think Labour should be about the threat from Zach Palensky of the Green Party and obviously Nigel Farage for reform? I mean, reform are still top of the polls. They saw a little bit of a dip at the end of the year, but they're still, Labour have sunk to 4th place at the moment. And Zach Palensky's coming up on the rails there.
Yeah, so reform is going to be a big challenge to Labour in Scotland and Wales and more of the sort of suburban towns areas which have traditionally been quite Labour. But as you say, the Green Party are really eyeing up a lot of those cities, those urban votes. That's going to be a big test in places like London and could be a real challenge. There's a lot of disaffected Labour voters and the Green Party are definitely aiming at them. They're raising in the polls. I think the big question is places like London, Labour have a great campaigning machine. They've got a lot of councillors who really care, who really want to keep their jobs. The question is, how much does that polling translate into votes on polling day? But I think it's going to be, from both sides, a quite bruising set of local elections for Labour, unless something changes in the next couple of months.
And how hopeful are you that it will?
I mean,
Prediction.
It's New Year's Day. You've got to be hopeful.
You've got to be. I mean, I don't work for the Labour Party, but I think if I were them, I would be worried. And we sort of saw what happened with the Conservatives. If you spend 2 years hoping that something's going to turn up, in politics, lots of things turn up, but they're very rarely good things. So I think you really have to focus on the work you can do to improve your position.
Actually, lots of we are aware we haven't read as many of your messages out as we would like to this morning. Obviously, we've got the breaking news story, but Caroline has got in touch and said the country is going down the path fast, not improving at all. And Bill has suggested a New Year's resolution for Keir Starmer, saying, I must stop lying. Strong opinions
and he says
there.
it 3 times.
He says it 3 times as well. Is that a bit like Beetlejuice? You say it 3 times and then something happens. No idea. John, thank you very much for coming in. That's political commentator John Oxley there.
Well, let's recap, in fact, that breaking news this morning. At least 10 people are known to have died after an explosion in a Swiss ski resort bar called Crans Montana in the popular tourist hotspot Valais. A helpline has been set up. We were sharing that number with you earlier. We're joined now by former Met Police Detective Peter Blexley to discuss the situation on the ground in Switzerland. Peter, good morning to you. Happy New Year. Not really the sort of news we want to hear on a day like today.
No, very distressing news from this ski resort. And of course, the first responders will primarily have been thinking about preserving life, protecting life, when the initial perhaps firefighters and police attended. And then as the hours pass by, then what will be fulfilling the minds of the detectives will be what caused this. Now, when we hear explosion, perhaps a lot of people might think, oh, goodness me, was this a terrorist attack? We simply do not know yet. Word is that the Swiss police are going to be holding a press conference fairly soon, and I'm sure that as daylight dawns, we will get to find out a lot more about this clearly tragic incident.
Do we have a sense of just how many people may have been inside at the time of this, as you say, explosion, but undetermined what caused it?
Well, of course, local time, it was 1:30 in the morning. So one fears, perhaps, that the premises was packed full of revellers seeing in the new year. Perhaps that would account for this appallingly high death toll. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure that the press conference will reveal a lot more. Now, of course, when you think about a Swiss ski resort, you would think perhaps, well, will there be challenges for the emergency services to reach there? Well, in ski resorts, they're generally speaking pretty well practiced at medical emergencies, because many skiers do unfortunately injure themselves. But when we're talking about an incident of this magnitude, I'm sure it will have put all the 999 services, as we call them here, under considerable pressure.
Yeah, I mean, we're just some more news coming in from the scene, Peter. It's a place called the Constellation Bar, and it could hold up to 300 people. Had a small outdoor terrace as well. Still no idea on the precise numbers of people there. But obviously it's a party night. Lots of people there would have been obviously celebrating, drinking. So you can imagine the chaos and the panic when this happened.
Yes, and in recent years, unfortunately, there have been terror attacks on New Year's Eve because terrorists are well aware that people are going to gather together and party. But I must reinforce, at the moment, we have no indicators yet that this is a terrorist incident. We shall simply have to wait and see. What people perhaps could bear in mind is that sometimes in facilities in ski resorts, they don't all have mains gas installation, and some businesses have their gas stored in tanks. Now, again, I don't know any specific detail about this, but let's all hold fire. Let's remain very, very calm until we know exactly what the cause of this tragic event is.
Yeah, and Peter, while we've got you on, can we talk about, obviously, the events in London last night? The firework display in London, where we believe there are about 100,000 people there, seemed to go off very well organised. There haven't been any details of anyone, you know, getting into trouble or any arrests or anything that we're aware of at the moment. But what did you make about the fact that the various parks around London were cordoned off to stop partygoers watching the fireworks for free?
Well, thank you for highlighting that. It appears events went off mainly peacefully, overwhelmingly peacefully last night. And let's give our beleaguered police credit where it's due. The Metropolitan Police, together with, I'm sure, thousands of security staff last night, would appear to have done a very professional job. And I doff my cap to them for that. The closing of Primrose Hill, of course, was unfortunate, but that was not a decision made by the Metropolitan Police. That was made by those responsible for maintaining and looking after the park and controlling access to it. They felt that 30,000 people gathering together, which was the kind of number they thought on Primrose Hill, would not be a number that they could manage safely. And therefore, after consultation with other partners, they decided to close the park. Very, very sad. I think perhaps there needs to be a rethink so that in 12 months' time, people might be able to gather there to see the fireworks for free and to join in the revelry of New Year's Eve.
OK. Peter, thank you very much for joining us today and enjoy the rest of your New Year Day. That's former Met Police Detective Peter Blexley there. Thank you very much. And just to recap on the breaking news, it is the Constellation Bar in Crans, Montana, a fire where we believe about 10 people may have lost their lives. If you are worried or concerned, if you have people on holiday in the area, a helpline has been set up for concerned families, and the number is +41 848 112 117. That's +41 848 112 117, and that is the Constellation Bar in Crans, Montana, in the Swiss ski resort there. Thank you very much. OK, so we will bring you any more details as and when we have it on that story.
Now, though, let's take a quick break and get your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, Happy New Year. This is your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. It's a cold day today. We have northerly winds bringing Arctic air and also plenty of showers, particularly across parts of Scotland. These readily falling as snow. We're going to see some snow accumulations really building up as we go through the next few days. Also through today, a few spots of showery rain, maybe some sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and perhaps feeding into some central and maybe southern parts of England. Elsewhere, actually, a lot of dry, sunny weather to be had, but temperatures a little bit below average for the time of year and feeling even colder where you're exposed to that brisk northerly wind that's pushing through into the evening. And we're going to continue with showers piling in across northern parts of Scotland. Snow building up. We're talking 20, 30 centimetres perhaps over the highest routes, and with some brisk winds still, we could see some blizzard-like conditions. Also, a few showery bursts of mainly rain across parts of Northern Ireland, perhaps a wintry mix pushing in across parts of Wales, some sleet, some snow over the higher ground, a few spots of rain across some parts of southwest England, but otherwise across much of England really it is going to be a fine end to the day. Clear skies though, allowing temperatures to plummet, so it is going to turn cold, frosty, a harsh frost in quite a few places, just where you've got that breeze coming in from the north and a bit more cloud, perhaps towards some western parts. Here temperatures not dropping quite as low, generally staying a few degrees above freezing, but further east, yes, it is going to be cold and frosty tomorrow morning. Watch out, as there is the potential for a front of sorts to bring some rain, sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales and maybe into southern southeastern parts of England as we go through tomorrow morning. That could cause some problems with some icy stretches here and there. Otherwise, actually a lot of fine weather for many, some decent sunshine, just still plenty more snow showers in areas exposed to that northerly wind. Temperatures, if anything, tomorrow are going to be a few degrees down on today, so feeling even colder.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Wrap up warm. It's not complicated. I think that's all you need to do. It's winter.
You need a coloured warning. You need a coloured warning.
It's yellow, apparently. Anyway, still to come, as only 38% of Brits admit to keeping their New Year's resolutions. We'll be asking, are they even worth the bother?
That's all coming up next. This is GB News at Breakfast with Dawn and Sam. We'll see you soon.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation. Monday to Thursday from 8 p.m.
The National Trust has come under fire after declining a Catholic filmmaker's request to shoot a documentary at St Cuthbert's Cave in Northumberland. St Cuthbert's Cave was a crucial location for the film, as it's traditionally believed to be where the saint's body rested in 875 before he was moved to Durham, where it remains today. The Trust justified its decision by citing the project's religious affiliation, sparking accusations that the heritage charity has breached equality laws and is engaging in illegal religious discrimination. Well, I'm joined now by the filmmaker at the centre of the story, Christian Holden. Christian, thank you for coming in. So, first of all, tell me about St Cuthbert. Why do we mind about St Cuthbert?
Well, St Cuthbert, this historical figure, this great figure of the northeast of England and the Scottish borders area, was renowned for his physical prowess, for his great night vigils. I approached the National Trust to ask permission to film there, and the initial response I had from them by email was that they didn't host any filming of a religious or political nature. I made a phone call to that particular person and explained more about what we hope to do, and that aside from its religious storyline, there's also historical value to it, cultural.
And so you were making the case that St Cuthbert was a cultural icon as well as a religious icon in the northeast of England, a very important political as well as religious figure in the consolidation of Christianity in the northeast.
It's such a critical part of our culture and our heritage, particularly in that area as well. So I was bewildered to be refused to visit and film this site of such importance on the basis of essentially being a Christian filmmaker.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
OK, welcome back and Happy New Year. If you need to know the time, it's 25 minutes past 8, but it's New Year's Day, so you probably don't. Lots of you getting in touch about New Year's resolution, and Rob has said the best New Year's resolution is making sure you're fit and healthy. Doesn't take a gym to do that, just take care of yourself. Similar, that makes sense to me.
There are so many apps out there now anyway. You download it, do it on your phone and work out from home.
Exactly, because we are going to talk...
Save yourself the subscription.
Well, yeah, you're talking about that. You're going to adjust your...
Put mine on pause because it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing.
Very fit, it's very expensive. OK, we are talking New Year's resolutions now, and have you made one? Well, according to YouGov, only 38% of people who made resolutions in 2025 say they kept them.
So, are New Year's resolutions powerful or just plain pointless?
So let's now join actress Debbie Arnold and anarchistic author, Lisa Mackenzie. Ladies, good to see you both. Thank you. You look both very perky, it has to be said. Happy New Year.
I'm in bed.
OK, Debbie, right, we'll just keep the camera focused on you there. OK, so let's start with you then first, Lisa. New Year's resolution, good or bad?
This year, good. I stayed in last night, so I didn't really have a drink. I feel very perky, I feel very bright, and I'm looking forward to 2026. And I've got some resolutions that I am going to keep. And I think that helped. Do you know when you've got a resolution and you decide to keep it? I think it does help you throughout the year because, you know, you can start to put some goals in. So my resolution and my goals is, sounds a bit mad, but I'm going to be a net winner this year. I've decided that anything that I do, if I'm investing time or money into something, I'm going to try and get the most out of it that I can. So when I'm at home, lying around, I'm going to make sure that I'm reading a book. I'm going to try and get as much out of this year as I possibly can. So that's my New Year's resolution.
That sounds quite sensible. Debbie, how about you? Are you a fan of New Year's resolutions?
I don't know. I had a terrible night last night and I wasn't going to drink and I finished my pantomime and I ended up drinking too much and being taken to my boyfriend's house, and which is where I am this morning. And so my New Year's resolution, which I don't believe in, is definitely never, ever to drink again. Ever. Ever. Ever.
I think that's everyone's New Year's resolution on the 1st of January each and every year.
Yeah, but I drank because I'd been doing pantomime. I've been playing this the Wicked Witch, and I'm exhausted. Look at the I've still got all my makeup on. I don't even remember what happened. I don't even remember going to bed.
OK. Debbie, are you doing a pantomime today as well?
No, it's finished last night.
Right.
If I was, they'd have to carry me on the stage.
That's quite handy. Lisa, coming back to you. I mean, you are a fan of New Year's resolutions, and yours sound quite sensible. But you can be setting yourself up to fail, and the guilt when you do fail is a very bad thing and can set all sorts of mental health issues off.
Yeah, it can. I mean, in the past, I've had New Year's resolutions that have been, you know, something that's not, I wouldn't be able to keep. You know, it's been sort of things like, this year I'm going to, you know, get a new job. And when I didn't get a new job, it was like, oh, I failed on that. But what I've learned is over the years is if you keep your resolutions in the range that, you know, the things that you can do, don't make them, you know, this year I'm going to win the lottery. You know, you'd be very disappointed if you don't. But for me, this year, I'm going to be this net winner. So if I'm at home and I've got free time, I'm going to make sure I read a book or watch a documentary. You know, make sure that my time is valuable and valued. You know, if I go out and meet a friend, I want to get as much out of that meeting as I can. You know, I want to try and be more positive, actually, about the time that I've got. Because, you know, I am very busy. I work 2 jobs. And, you know, last year I just felt like I'd got no life. I was just like running from one thing to the other. So this year, what I want to do is, yeah, I am busy, but I want to try and enjoy the busyness, you know, make the most of it.
OK, and Debbie, if you're still OK, if you're still with us.
Definitely. I mean, I am not a believer of resolutions because last year I vowed to give up drinking as well. So you can see that it works. I mean, what in my eyes? I can't even get my head in the right position for the camera.
It's still on your shoulders, so you're halfway there.
Goodness.
Oh my God! No, I don't believe.
Have you got any small habits, Debbie? Perhaps not as grand as stop drinking altogether, but something a bit more achievable for 2026.
Yeah, I think so. I can't think. My brain has stopped working. All I know is it's my resolution is to spend more time with my friends and with you, Dawn. It'd be nice to give you a hug in real life. But I think my immediate resolution is to go back to sleep.
I think that's probably a fairly good resolution. Thank you so much, Debbie Arnold and Lisa McKenzie there, and a Happy New Year to you both. And
Happy New Year.
I hope you feel better soon, Debbie. Thank you so much for that one.
I like that. Let's go back to bed.
It's honest.
It's achievable.
We can't go back to bed yet.
Not yet.
Not together, obviously. Not together. Oh my God, that sounded terrible. No, we can't go. Yes.
If you're travelling today,
yes.
here is your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Road users should take care on the A9 Dornoch Bridge, where high winds are making driving conditions tricky. On the M62 eastbound at junction 24, a collision has closed one of 3 lanes, with conditions improving between 9:45 and 10, so allow extra time. On the M1 southbound at junction 8 in Hertfordshire, a broken down vehicle is blocking one of 4 lanes, with normal traffic expected between 8:30 and 9:45. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while cross-country reports work around Cambridge and disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
OK, welcome back. We're still in therapy over Debbie Arnold's New Year resolutions.
Oh, I feel for her. I hope she's all right.
I'm sure she will.
Hopefully she's back to bed.
But let us know what yours are as well. And I'm aware we haven't read as many out. We will read some out, don't worry. gbnews.com/say. And OK, still to come, all the latest sports headlines with Aidan McGee. This is GB News Breakfast with who are you again?
Sam. Sam and Dawn. Dawn and Sam. Stay with us.
We'll see you soon.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray,
are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Hello, welcome back and a Happy New Year to you all. I just want to read a couple of your messages, because where we haven't done as many as we should. Linda says, Happy New Year to Dawn and Sam and all at GB News. It's so lovely to see Sam presenting for a change. He should have a more permanent slot, and that would be great for 2026. Take note, producers. Dawn is brilliant and fabulous as always. Guess what? Thank you very much for that. And lots of you getting in touch about Debbie Arnold's interview on resolutions just now. Lady Chancellor says, Debbie keeping it real. And Boo Boo has said, that is actually me at this moment in time. So, yeah, keep them coming in at gbnews.com/yoursay.
Debbie. Anyway, on to the sport. Latest sports news with Aidan McGee back with us in the studio.
Good to see him. He's keeping it real.
Yes.
He certainly is. He certainly was the other night when he was booed. But yeah, look, huge controversy at the Ali Pali. Another brilliant event this year, hasn't it? Have you seen the pictures on TV?
Huge.
All the
spectacle.
All the fancy dress, and didn't you say Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo.
I'm loving the fancy dress thing. Yeah, I'm loving that.
It's great. Well, look, he was in action the other day against Rob Cross. We kind of know the story. Rob Cross is a former world champion. He really pushed him to the limit. And I think the fans just booed him because they want to see a bit of competition. They don't want to see well, he's not the underdog anymore, is he? They want to see the underdog was Rob Cross, and they were cheering for him. That's how it is at the darts. I think it was a majority German crowd as well. They tend to give him a bit of stick when he's travelled around Europe earlier in the year. But, you know, he said what he said afterwards. I think he regrets it in the moment of time. Problem is, though, Sam, we don't realise that these players, don't think he's only 18, he's not 19 till next month.
This month?
They're in January. I'm still thinking, I'm still in December.
Aidan, it's New Year, 2026.
Is it?
January.
No,
I know. I mean, how did that happen? No idea.
All right, later this month, he turns 19, and they're interviewed, Dawn, within seconds of coming off the stage. In fact, they're interviewed on the stage. Everyone says about footballers, they say things in the heat at the moment. Well, they've actually got a few minutes to gather their thoughts. It's not much, but you'd rather that than just a few seconds. And that's what he said. He talked about the money. He said that, you know, you lot pay my wages. It's true, they do pay his wages, and nobody in the crowd is under any illusions that that isn't the case. I mean,
so this is when they're grabbed stage side, literally as they're walking off. They're interviewed.
They're interviewed.
No breathing space. No
breathing space. Exactly. It's hard. He's a young man. So look, he'll move past it. He's got a big match tonight, 7:15 against Krzysztof Ratajski. I expect him to get through. I expect him to win the tournament. And look, 6 million people watched the final last year, the most we've ever seen. The prize money for the winner has doubled from 500 grand to $1 million. When I covered it 20 years ago, it was 100 grand, and they were grateful. They were really grateful, because darts was on its knees and no one was interested. And we used to battle to get it onto even 3 pages from the back, never mind the back page or the front page. So that's where it is now. And he's having the Tiger Woods effects, because everyone else around him is getting rich on account of how good this kid is, because the loser will get as much as the winner got last year. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. As it raises, so does everybody else.
It's commensurate with what they're doing. And it's fantastic for the sport. When we were kids, it was really big, wasn't it, back in the 80s? It's getting back to those levels now.
The 1880s, yes.
And that's where we're going with it. But I think he'll move on from this, no problem at all. And if he wins, he's going to be celebrated like never before.
Can I just ask when the final is? I mean, I haven't...
Final, I think, is on the 4th or 3rd of January. I will check.
It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Well, they take a break.
They take a break over Christmas.
They do. And then everyone wants to see the Luke Littler session as well. And there are certain times of the year, or certain times in the session where it's... I mean, you can't make them play over Christmas, I don't think, because I just don't think people can get there. Ali Pali's a difficult place to get.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's the problem. I want to give you quick updates on Anthony Joshua.
Yes, please.
Just in the last few hours. Dreadful news, wasn't it, on Monday out of Lagos, where two of his friends were killed in a car crash. He has been released from hospital in Nigeria, and the authorities have said, and he's waiting to come home to the UK. It does obviously cast doubt over next summer's planned showdown with Tyson Fury. He said he was aching all over his body. I mean, looking at the crash pictures, which some people would have seen, it's amazing he came out of that relatively unscathed, but he is in pain. And this is the mental factor, isn't it? It's the mental element of how he's going to recover from this. Seeing his two friends, really important people in his life, just slain like that is absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it was a shocking thing. I mean, a miracle.
There'll be updates throughout
multiple pictures of him waving from inside the car just to say he's okay.
Yeah.
You know, just
incredible.
Absolutely
incredible.
Shock. Aidan, that's it for now. Thank you so much.
Great to see you both.
See you next time round.
Indeed.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That's Aidan McGee for us now, but don't you dare go anywhere, because still to come, we're going through the newspapers with Emma Wolf and Lewis Oakley. There they are, giving us a wave. Kind of giving us a wave. It's getting a little bit...
Fresh face, ready to go.
Love that. That's a
1st
good
of January.
Thank you very much.
Give us some energy.
But first, if you are in search of some holiday sun, here's a forecast for those top European destinations.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Plenty of heavy and thundery rain across parts of southern Europe as we go through into the weekend. There's Storm Francis, which is heading towards Spain and Portugal, bringing heavy and thundery rain here. Also some heavy rain across parts of Italy, Slovenia, Hungary, Croatia, and the risk of some significant hill snow building up in parts as well. Into the weekend, well, there will be some dry weather around, but also further rain at times too. I'll see you later.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Samantha, Jeffrey, thank you for your time tonight on The Late Show Live. Really appreciate it. This is a story that, amongst all the stories of wars and murders and crime and so on, at least it's given us a laugh, and at least the raccoon is OK. Just explain to us, if you can, Samantha, exactly what happened. Where was the raccoon found? Where is he now? Who found him and so on?
Yeah, so the store manager went to open up the ABC store here in Ashland, Virginia, and discovered a bunch of broken bottles in the back room. Upon further investigation, he was also located a raccoon that was passed out in one of the bathrooms. He had locked himself in the bathroom, and that's when the store manager called us to get him.
So first things first, how on earth did he end up in the store? How did he get in there?
So he fell through the ceiling. So he went through a ceiling tile and took out the wiring for the video camera as he was falling down. So we don't have a whole lot to go off of, just what the evidence that we encountered when we got to the scene of the crime.
So he fell through the ceiling, and I guess he landed on, because there's pictures here we've got of bottles of, I think it's whiskey, just strewn all over the store. So he must have fallen through the ceiling onto the shelves, smashed all the bottles, and then I guess from there thought it was going to be a great idea to, lap up all the alcohol on the floor?
I guess so. He just decided to have a party.
And who found him?
The store manager.
And what was their reaction? Have you spoken to them? What were their first sort of comments to you when I guess they called you to report the raccoon passed out in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, they were a little bit distraught. They didn't know how to get him out. They obviously did not want to pick him up themselves. That's why they called us for assistance.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Hello, welcome back, and Happy New Year. If you're just waking up, it is, you know, coming up to 8:45. We don't want to know what you've been doing, but what have you been doing? OK, joining us now to go through the papers is journalist and author Emma Wharf and broadcaster and podcast host Lewis Oakley. OK, who wants to go first on this one?
Well, what about pubs? If people are just coming back from...
What about pubs?
Well, this is a bit depressing. The industry have been talking about a drastic situation for British pubs. Pubs closing every single day. And really, you know, these are the heart. Every time we lose a pub, we lose a piece of our social fabric, which I thought was a beautiful, beautiful way of putting it. Ever since the pandemic, since the kind of economic travails of this country, the industry is really struggling. The hospitality industry is really struggling. You've got rising costs just to run a pub, heat a pub, light a pub. You know, when you don't have that many people coming in, people are drinking less alcohol, all of the troubles that they're having, you know, cost of living, all of that. Energy costs going up, staff wages going up, higher property taxes and rates coming in from April.
Yes.
So the pub industry is in a really, really difficult situation, and often it is the thing that knits together a village or a town or a local community. You know, they check up on old people, or they take in parcels or whatever. There's so much that pubs do for us. People work there during the day, that kind of thing.
I think there's multiple issues that are all coming at once for them, isn't it? And it looks like the ones that are doing the best are the ones that are reinventing a little bit. So they're putting more effort into the food that they're serving. Craft beer is really big now, so trying to do what they can. So I think a natural reflex is to blame the government for everything. Now, the government should be blamed for the bits that they're doing. They should be making it easier. They shouldn't be making it hard. I know we've talked a lot about hiring staff for Christmas and then all the rights that they have. It's harder to do now. So I think the government could be more useful, but I think even if the government were being very useful in this situation, pubs are still, as you say, like, people are turning against alcohol, people are having dry January. Like, it just may be that there is a bit of a slow decline in the pubs. I mean, younger generations, aren't they? Just don't drink.
Do you think that people's habits are just changing, though? And actually, this is the way that the world is moving?
I think so. I don't think there is as much of a pub culture as there used to be, you know, and with people drinking so much less, it really, really does make a difference. You know, people aren't just going out for 5 pints a night. But I think the other pressures, Lewis, to kind of respond to what you say, they are down to the government, they are down to the decisions that the Chancellor has been making about business rates, about property taxes, about minimum wage, all of that, which actually really, really, you know, pile the pressure on pub landlords.
I mean, the government have said that they've got, you know, they're doing as much as they can to support the hospitality industry, but, you know, every pub landlord we talk to are worried that...
Imagine if you have a couple of people in your pub and you still have to have the cleaners in to clean the lavatories, you still have to heat it and light it, and all those things. You have to keep it running, whether you have 3 people in or 33 people in. So it is really, really, it's a really difficult time for them.
OK, Emma, just staying with you for now quickly. This good news in the Times, a single 10-minute workout could halt progression of bowel cancer.
Yeah, this is brilliant news. I mean, we're learning more and more about cancer, aren't we, and sort of targeted treatments and things. But a study from the University of Newcastle has shown that short bursts of exercise actually do something amazing to the rapid... They have these rapid molecular changes. They boost 13 different proteins in the blood, which are very, very powerful at countering bowel cancer. It's the 4th most common cancer in the UK. 44,000 people are diagnosed every year. So short bursts of exercise are good. Morning and evening are really good. But also enough. Like, do lots of exercise. 150 minutes really is our recommended exercise, she says, having cycled in, having a swim booked for later with my little one. As much exercise as people can do, it really does help with those special molecules in the blood.
I think the good thing about this, though, is the 10-minute workout, and that it's actually quite useful, because I'm someone who thinks, well, if I can't do a full workout, what's the point? And I, haven't been to the gym in quite a while. But actually, just people being reminded, especially as it's New Year's Day, and people are starting thinking about what are the little changes I can make. Sometimes I think people make too many big New Year's resolutions. Just committing to doing 10 minutes a day, and to know that that can have such
10 minutes morning and evening, absolutely.
Yeah, and just going for a walk.
And it really has a powerful effect.
Yeah, just going for a walk, good for you mentally and physically. I'm
Absolutely.
a big advocate of going for a walk.
Absolutely.
Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
Really can. OK, and I did a little story I spotted in the Daily Mail today, because you've both got little children. It's not cool to sing at school assemblies. Now, this is talking about older children in the secondary education system. But it's like kids don't think it's cool to sing at school anymore.
That's really, really sad. Honestly, the highlight of my year is the Christmas Carol concert, where they, meander their way through various songs and jingle bells, and they do little dances. And I never thought I would be that parent. Every single time, all the other parents holding their phones out and filming it, I'm just sat there in tears watching my 5-year-old. It's a beautiful thing. And as for not singing at school, I think children should sing. We should all sing with other people. It's such a lovely feeling. Even if, like Dawn and I, you can't sing.
You can't sing at all.
No, but with other
There's
people.
one thing with primary school. Secondary school, though, I would have to say, if that was something I had to go through as a teenager, it would be a no-go for me.
I think if it's that they're all doing it together, I think it can boost confidence. If you're sort of singled out, or there's just sort of 5 of you on a stage, then I totally get where you're a teenager and you're getting self-conscious. Actually, don't force them to do things they don't want to do. I mean, I remember auditioning for my school choir, and the teacher said, "Thank you for trying." I knew that was the end of my singing career.
Oh, that's really hurtful.
But you mentioned there were songs like Coldplay. I remember singing Robbie Williams in primary school. Do you not think the type of song, the message, matters as well?
Well, I'm a traditionalist. I would want, at my school assembly, we sang hymns. We sang hymns and then proper Christmas carols at Christmas. But, if it takes Coldplay or... What was the other one?
Robbie Williams.
Oh, Robbie Williams, Angels.
I think that's
Not my favourite song. But yeah, if it takes that to get children singing, and I do think they should be forced to, because they'll love it.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes,
I remember being
absolutely.
a teenager and you're awkward and you're uncomfortable, and, some people just don't want to be looked at. They don't want to get on the stage. Can't think of anything worse.
If you're singing in assembly, I mean, I remember singing as a teenager in assembly back in the dark ages. I mean, we were kids and we were told what to do, to be honest with you. It wasn't our choice. It wasn't our rights.
Well, if they make them all do it together, then I guess that's fine.
It's very uplifting, and it sort of brings people together, I think.
Was there any mention of what the teacher's perspective would be?
Yeah, but the teachers were actually sort of like, a bit sad that this wasn't a thing. Yeah. They were quite for it. But the other story I saw on that same page is January sale of the gifts we didn't like. OK, so... confession time here.
I got such a re-gift. I got such a re-gift, and I'm sure my big sister wouldn't mind me saying. It was, those pots that you put sticks in, they're called diffusers, and it had a matching candle. I do like candles, but the thing with the sticks in that you put the diffusers in and it scents the room, I just knew that she'd literally been handed it like the day before on Christmas Eve. I don't mind. I've put it in the re-gift box for another re-gift. I hope I mustn't give it back to her. But the re-gift, the hand cream. I've got so many hand creams. Don't want any more. Thank you very much. In the re-gift box.
Is that a thing? A re-gift box?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
You've not done that?
A drawer. You have a drawer with re-gifting.
I'm contemplating which ones I might put in a re-gift box.
Yeah, OK.
Well, Dad didn't get much for Christmas. I only got about 3 presents, and I quite liked there were a few things I wanted that I'd hinted at that I didn't get, but I've already brought them myself.
Do you want to you've got them yourself now
I already brought them myself. I was like, OK, that wasn't under the tree. I'll just buy it myself. But I think when you're a parent, I don't know, people don't get you that much stuff, or it's alcohol, so...
Yeah, there is that.
Wait till the kids grow up and then they might return it.
Yeah.
Yes, with your money, you give them money and then they'll buy you something, maybe.
They better get it right there.
Just a bit of peace and quiet.
Go on then, re-gifting. Have you never re-gifted anything?
I've never re-gifted, but I'm guilty of giving diffusers this year.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain high street store where you can get very good deals.
Oh, right.
on
Well, I think, you know,
different diffusers.
Some people love them, but no, start a drawer. When you get a thing that's not quite you, or aftershave that it's not really you, put it in the re-gift drawer, and then you've got things to give.
I'm so incredibly forgetful. I think I'd just accidentally
that's the
turn it to the wrong person.
Well,
you ever done it?
That is re-gifting. Yeah, I have to confess,
Really?
I did. Yeah, it was something that I think, and I suddenly had a panic that did I re-give it back to the person that gave it to me?
You imagine?
That was a problem. Thank you so much, you two. You've been brilliant as always. Enjoy the rest of your New Year day, and let us know if you're doing any re-gifting as well in January. Lots of us do.
I wonder if you can re-gift a co-host.
Oh my God!
I meant for you to me.
I'll deal with you in a minute. Let's get the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, Happy New Year. This is your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. It's a cold day today. We have northerly winds bringing Arctic air and also plenty of showers, particularly across parts of Scotland. These readily falling as snow. We're going to see some snow accumulations really building up as we go through the next few days. Also through today, a few spots of showery rain, maybe some sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and perhaps feeding into some central and maybe southern parts of England. Elsewhere, actually, a lot of dry, sunny weather to be had, but temperatures a little bit below average for the time of year and feeling even colder where you're exposed to that brisk northerly wind that's pushing through into the evening. And we're going to continue with showers piling in across northern parts of Scotland. Snow building up. We're talking 20, 30 centimetres perhaps over the highest routes, and with some brisk winds still, we could see some blizzard-like conditions. Also, a few showery bursts of mainly rain across parts of Northern Ireland, perhaps a wintry mix pushing in across parts of Wales, some sleet, some snow over the higher ground, a few spots of rain across some parts of southwest England, but otherwise across much of England really it is going to be a fine end to the day. Clear skies though, allowing temperatures to plummet, so it is going to turn cold, frosty, a harsh frost in quite a few places, just where you've got that breeze coming in from the north and a bit more cloud perhaps towards some western parts. Here temperatures not dropping quite as low, generally staying a few degrees above freezing, but further east, yes, it is going to be cold and frosty tomorrow morning. Watch out, as there is the potential for a front of sorts to bring some rain, sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and maybe into southern southeastern parts of England as we go through tomorrow morning. That could cause some problems with some icy stretches here and there. Otherwise, actually a lot of fine weather for many, some decent sunshine, just still plenty more snow showers in areas exposed to that northerly wind. Temperatures, if anything, tomorrow are going to be a few degrees down on today, so feeling even colder.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you to our global community for watching and listening to GB News. We're not only the #1 news channel in Britain, we're chosen by you around the world.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Road users should take care on the A9 Dornoch Bridge, where high winds are making driving conditions difficult. In Devon, there is a lane closed on the A30 westbound between the junctions with the A386 and the A388 at Launceston East after an accident, with conditions expected to improve by around 11:15 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country reports major engineering work in the Cambridge area, plus disruption between Doncaster and Sheffield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is your chance to become our biggest cash prize winner to date. £85,000 in totally tax-free cash could be making its way from our bank account to yours. It would be like having over £7,000 per month extra to play with, each month for a whole year. That could be you, safe in the knowledge that 2026 is on us. For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning and a very, very happy new year to you. But we start with some incredibly sad breaking news.
Yes, police in Switzerland say they are bracing for the worst after an explosion at a ski resort bar. A popular tourist hotspot for Brits in Valais has left at least 10 people dead, and a no-fly zone is now imposed over Crans-Montana.
Yeah, absolutely.
More people will feel once again a sense of hope, a belief that things can and will get better.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister promises positive change is on the horizon after a turbulent 2025.
Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch also released this positive message for the year ahead.
Britain is not destined for decline. We are a great country full of talent, humour and strength. Things can change, but only if we have a plan for change.
And overnight, London rings in the new year in style as cities around the globe lit up the night sky with spectacular fireworks to welcome 2026.
This, we will smash the gangs.
I will do whatever it takes to secure our borders.
In August, I signed the new treaty with France, allowing us for the first time to directly return those who arrive on small boats.
With illegal channel crossings reaching record levels in 2025, questions remain over why Labour has failed to take sufficient action to turn the situation around. Will this year be any different?
And raising a glass to not raising a glass, Dry January is beginning for millions of people as participants give up alcohol for the month in a bid to reset after the festive season.
And a new year brings new big promises, but do New Year's resolutions inspire lasting change or just set us up to fall short?
And as millions travel home to celebrate New Year's Day, is widespread disruption inevitable?
This is twisted.
Just the way I like it.
I'm scared!
Yes, it's the fourth series of The Traitors airing tonight on the BBC, hosted by Claudia Winkleman, but no need to watch that. There's plenty of better stuff right here on GB News.
It's a cold few days to start 2026 and there's some snow around, but will you see any? Well, stay tuned to find out.
It has just gone 9 o'clock already. Good gosh. I'm Dawn Nissan.
And I'm Sam Francis. This is your New Year's Day GB News Breakfast.
OK, we want to bring you Happy New Year to you all, but obviously there is a tragic story breaking this morning, which is breaking story.
Situation in Switzerland, a seemingly tragic situation in that ski resort of Crans-Montana. Just bring you the latest details that we have so far. We now know at least 10 people have been killed, many others injured after an explosion believed to have taken place in a bar there. The police in the last few minutes have said they are bracing, they say, for the very worst possible outcome and do expect, sadly, for the death toll to continue to rise. We are expecting to hear from police at the scene shortly. We'll try and bring that to you as soon as that feed comes into us. But let's just bring you up to date now with former Scotland Yard detective Mike Neville, who joins us this morning. Mike, good morning to you and Happy New Year. Sadly, this news not quite so happy to start 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Happy New Year to you and your listeners. But this is a tragedy, isn't it? And it would seem that the police are suggesting that it's caused by pyrotechnics. Of course, they don't know the real reason at the moment, and all those forensic experts will be checking that. But it seems to have been caused by fireworks being set off prematurely or something like that.
Yeah, it's in a bar called La Constellation, which is a real institution, and it's incredibly popular. It's not one of the, as you think with the ski resort, it's not one of the posh ones. It's where people just go to watch football and have a drink. So it was packed. We reckon estimates put about 300 people there. And as you say, speculation is that it was caused by a firework, but the cause is actually not being confirmed yet. It began around 1:30 local time, which is about midnight. UK time. Mike, I mean, they reacted pretty soon, considering it was a packed, busy night, imposing the no-fly zone. I guess when you hear something like that, you have to assume the worst.
Absolutely. You know, Europe is braced for terrorist attacks, so they'll think that maybe there's something to do with that. And then there'll be the initial investigation by the local inspector or something like that. But now what you have all sorts of forensic investigation teams in there, the fire brigade. They have experts on analysing the start of a fire, where an explosion has started. And all those scenes of crime experts will be on scene right now, examining that the cause of the explosion, seeing what's happened. You've got a terrible job there, identifying the bodies, informing the families. But I can, having worked with the Swiss police, just like the rest of the police in Europe, there'll be some very professional investigators involved in this examination.
And obviously this was a very popular tourist hotspot as well. I would assume that would mean a lot of cooperation across Europe with other nations as well as just locally in Switzerland.
Absolutely. So there is, so as well as Interpol, there's Europol who deal with things, but on an informal basis. I've dealt with the European police and to the identification of the bodies and informing their families. It's a very tragic, it's an awful job, to be honest, but they will be on top of it and they will be dealing it very professionally.
It is. Obviously, many people are getting live reports from the scene now, and the pictures of the bar, it does look devastating. You can imagine that packed, people partying, people drinking. It would have been absolute chaos in there. People would have been terrified.
Yeah, absolutely. I was out. Many of us were out last night, weren't we? And imagine 1:30 in the morning. That's when people have they're the most happy. They're having the most drinks, and then this devastation occurs. But it just reminds us that while we're happy and partying, the emergency services, they're always ready. And I'm sure that the Swiss police, the Swiss ambulance service, the fire brigade, they were ready and they're then on scene, ready to deal with that. And I'm sure the Swiss authorities are dealing with it in the best possible manner.
Yeah, and Mike, while we have you on, a quick comment from how well the fireworks in London seemed to go last night. 100,000 people in London. We haven't had any reports of anything going horribly wrong there, so that seemed to be quite successful.
Yeah, I was in a pub in a place called Myford in Wales, so we did actually see them. They put them on, and they did look spectacular, didn't they? So it's good to see that London did its best. It did well, and it's nice to know that our capital city can provide some happiness. And the sad thing is that my best wishes and condolences to everybody in Switzerland and anybody who's been impacted by this terrible incident.
OK, Mike, thank you very much. That's former Scotland Yard detective Mike Neville. Just want to read out that a helpline has been set up if you are concerned about friends or families who are on holiday in the resort of Crans, Montana in Switzerland. The number is +41 848 112 117. That is +41 848 112 117. Emergency services are still at the site and details are still emerging. We are expecting a press conference, I believe, within the next few minutes, and we will bring you that as soon as we have it.
Turning, though, to news closer to home, and the Immigration Minister has told GB News he's confident that sweeping changes to immigration policy will allow the UK to make progress in tackling small boat people smuggling in the coming year.
Yeah, in an exclusive interview, Mike Tapp said the new powers would make it less attractive to come here and easier for authorities to deport illegal arrivals.
His comments come as the number of Channel migrants, though, reaching the UK just last year alone hit 41,500 people, making it the second busiest year of small boat crossings on record.
Mark White has this exclusive report for us.
When Sir Keir Starmer came to office, he promised to smash the gangs to end these illegal crossings. 18 months on, by the most obvious measure, the numbers arriving in the UK, he's failed on that key pledge. It has been the second highest year on record. Only poor weather through the whole of November and much of December prevented it surpassing the more than 45,000 who arrived back in 2022. Today is typical of the kind of weather that we've experienced in the Channel all too often lately. It's not exactly blowing a gale, but it's windy enough to churn up the waves and make it impassable for these flimsy migrant dinghies. On the other side of the Channel, there is no slowdown in the numbers arriving in the camps here. For the residents in French towns along the Channel coast, it has been a miserable year. GB News has documented increasing levels of migrant violence and criminality. In the UK, it's not knowing who those arriving here are, what their criminal past might be, that has so many increasingly concerned. A year of highly alarming incidents linked to asylum seekers brought thousands onto the streets, protesting outside migrant accommodation across the country. Despite the growing levels of anger and no sign of any let-up in illegal migrant crossings, the Immigration Minister told us he's confident the government is making progress.
We inherited open borders. We've seen recently sweeping changes to the immigration system to make it less attractive to come here, easier to deport and remove people, and of course counter-terror powers to take on the smuggling gangs, and I'm confident we'll make progress.
A much publicised returns deal with France has so far seen only a very modest number sent back over the Channel. The government says it hopes to expand the programme. And a long-anticipated plan for the French to push migrant boats back onto the beaches has yet to begin, with indications it'll only ever be used in rare cases. The former Director General of Border Force believes Labour has to find a major third country deterrent, like the previous government's Rwanda scheme.
I think for the more difficult countries, we do need a Rwanda-style deterrent, but it has to be a laser-like focus on removals. That's what we need. In my experience, the only way to tackle asylum intake is to say we will detain you when you get here and we will remove you. That's the only message, I'm afraid, that the migrants and the smugglers are going to understand.
Across the year, UK law enforcement managed a number of key arrests and prosecutions of those linked to Channel people smuggling. But despite those successes, it seems to have hardly made a dent on a criminal trade that continues to push ever greater numbers towards the UK. Mark White, GB News, Dover.
OK, thank you very much, Mark White, for that exclusive report there. Obviously, one of the main political talking points for last year, and you suspect it would be one of the main political points for this year as well. So let's go now to political commentator John Oxley. John, thank you so much for coming in. John, I feel like that report about the number of migrants coming over here, what we're going to do about it, we could have had last year, we could probably be having it next year. Now, this is one of the main things people are worried about.
Yes, and this is a story that really has been going on probably 6 or 7 years now, has been, you know, it goes up and down, but last year was, I think, the second highest total of small boat crossings. And what we've seen so far is first the Conservative government and then the Labour government struggle to get a handle on this. People are very concerned about it. There is a huge reward potentially for the government who can get it right and get those numbers coming down. But so far, we've not really seen any party policies really manage to do that, and it still remains really dependent on how bad the weather in a given year is rather than necessarily what the government are doing.
Do you think that one of the main challenges for someone like Sir Keir Starmer on an issue like the small boats and all the other elements he touched on in his New Year's message is one around delivery, or is it more fundamentally belief from the public that anything is actually going to change?
I think it's a combination of both. I think the public are rightly sceptical on this. They've had politicians say numerous times over several years, we're going to stop these small boats. It hasn't happened. If anything, it's got worse. And you know, if you are failing to deliver, that sense gets worse and worse. And until you can point to something concrete that you've done that has really had an effect, people aren't going to believe that the next gimmick or the next scheme is going to work. So I think you have that erosion of trust, but one of the things that might be able to stop that is actually getting to a point. If we get to June, say, and there's a dramatic shift, then maybe public opinion about that will start to change. The question is, what can you do that produces that shift?
In Kemi Badenoch's New Year address, she mentioned the fact that Labour keep consistently going back to open the Brexit wounds, and that was 2016. I do feel like we have been talking about this for an awful long time. Do you think she's right to raise that, and is it something we should be worried about going into this year, this new year, with Keir Starmer seemingly edging us closer to the union?
I don't think there's a huge appetite for that within Labour, and I think they are still wary of it. I think what you are more likely to see is some of those parties that are trying to challenge Labour, the Green Party, the Lib Dems in particular, making this point that if you look at the polling, Brexit now is very unpopular, it's becoming less popular. And so for parties that have always been very pro-European, there's a real angle to attack Labour on, saying, look, people aren't happy with this, you're not really doing enough to change it. If we get in, then we're going to push more towards the EU. And that, in turn, creates a problem for Labour, because Labour are having to chart this middle course. They have some support that is quite pro-Brexit. They certainly don't want to lose that to the Tories. They don't want to open up the door to reform. But there's a big constituency within Labour who are pushing for that. And even if the leadership don't respond, others will.
And the other point Kemi was making about Britishness, basically. British values should come first. And if you come to this country, you support this country. If you don't support this country, you go to another country. Do you think she's right to take that line? Because it's very much taking Nigel Farage and reform head on, isn't it?
I think it's responding to, I think, a lot of something that a lot of people feel, which is, you know, people want to see, you know, whatever happens with migration, they want to see people become integrated. They don't want this sense that there's separate communities. And if you look at Britain compared with places like France, historically, we've actually been very good at doing that. So I think it's the sort of thing people want to hear their politicians talking about. I think it does take the fight to reform, which the Conservatives absolutely are going to have to do if they want to politically survive. But I think it's also about building out what the Conservatives see as their vision for how the country operates. And I think that view of integration and British values has always been, you know, something that successive Conservative governments have talked about. So I think it's quite natural for Kemi to be putting that line forward.
OK. John, thank you very much for joining us. Political commentator John Oxley. OK, still to come.
Well, The Traitors returns to our screens tonight. Host Claudia Winkleman has warned viewers to expect the most brutal, if it can get any more brutal, series so far.
Well, that's coming up next. This is GB News at Breakfast with Dawn and Sam. We'll see you soon.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Welcome back at 9:20. Let's just take you live now to pictures coming to us from Switzerland where the police are giving a press conference following that tragic news on New Year's Day today, following a fire that appears to have taken place at a bar at a Swiss ski resort. It is in French, so at this moment we don't have an interpretation, but lines are coming into us from that press conference, bringing just some comments from one of the state councillors who has said that the area has been, she says, struck by a terrible tragedy with emergency services out in force, working courageously, and that hospitals across the country, the entire country, are dealing with an influx of injured people. He's also asking all those in the area to avoid any risky activities and thanking the emergency services on behalf of all of Switzerland.
Yeah, that's just to recap. Several people had been killed by a fire in a bar in the Swiss ski resort of Crans, Montana. We don't know the precise number yet. We are expecting to hear more details of that in the press conference currently taking place. The fire began at about 1:30 local time, about midnight in UK, in a bar called La Constellation. The cause is not known, although police initially said there had been an explosion. Local reports say there may have been fireworks involved. If you are worried about friends and family out there, there is a helpline that's been set up, and it is +41 848 112-117 if you are concerned. That conference is ongoing now. We will be bringing you updates as and when we get them, because we do understand a lot of people are obviously worried. Friends and family out there on holiday at the moment.
That will, of course, be one of the big themes and conversations during Britain's newsroom. Up in around 8 minutes' time, Cameron Walker, Miriam Cates, you are here. You are well, I think.
Well, questionable. We had a good time on New Year's Eve.
1 a.m. for you.
I was here until 1:38. Both looking
Yes,
remarkably perky.
Oh,
and
thank you very much.
obviously a tough show because it's Happy New Year, but also this story you're going to be covering.
Yeah, we certainly will be keeping you right up to date with the latest lines on that, but also a happy New Year with New Year's resolutions and a New Year's swim in Scotland. So lots to look forward to in the show.
Thanks for the very kind offer. I won't be taking you off on that one.
You.
That's Cameron and Miriam, who are coming up very shortly. From us, thank you so much.
Very happy New Year.
And a very happy New Year. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a wonderful time.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, Happy New Year. This is your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. It's a cold day today. We have northerly winds bringing Arctic air and also plenty of showers, particularly across parts of Scotland. These readily falling as snow. We're going to see some snow accumulations really building up as we go through the next few days. Also through today, a few spots of showery rain, maybe some sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and perhaps feeding into some central and maybe southern parts of England. Elsewhere, actually a lot of dry, sunny weather to be had, but temperatures a little bit below average for the time of year and feeling even colder where you're exposed to that brisk northerly wind that's pushing through into the evening. And we're going to continue with showers piling in across northern parts of Scotland. Snow building up. We're talking 20-30 centimetres perhaps over the highest routes, and with some brisk winds still, we could see some blizzard-like conditions. Also a few showery bursts of mainly rain across parts of Northern Ireland, perhaps a wintry mix pushing in across parts of Wales, some sleet, some snow over the higher ground, a few spots of rain across some parts of southwest England, but otherwise across much of England really it is going to be a fine end to the day. Clear skies though, allowing temperatures to plummet, so it is going to turn cold, frosty, a harsh frost in quite a few places, just where you've got that breeze coming in from the north and a bit more cloud perhaps towards some western parts. Here temperatures not dropping quite as low, generally staying a few degrees above freezing, but further east, yes, it is going to be cold and frosty tomorrow morning. Watch out, as there is the potential for a front of sorts to bring some rain, sleet and snow across parts of Northern Ireland, Wales, and maybe into southern southeastern parts of England as we go through tomorrow morning. That could cause some problems with some icy stretches here and there. Otherwise, actually a lot of fine weather for many, some decent sunshine, just still plenty more snow showers in areas exposed to that northerly wind. Temperatures, if anything, tomorrow are going to be a few degrees down on today, so feeling even colder.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for helping us reach 10 million followers across social media. We are truly honoured to have your trust, one follower at a time.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the A9 Dornoch Bridge, take extra care this morning, with high winds making the crossing tricky. In Surrey, delays continue on the M25 anti-clockwise between Junction 6 and Junction 5 after a crash shut 2 of 4 lanes. Conditions should improve around 10. In Devon, there are queues on the A30 westbound between the A386 and the A388 near Launceston East, where an incident closed 1 lane, easing around midday. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast has major engineering work between Milton Keynes Central and Northampton or Rugby, while Cross Country reports engineering work around Cambridge and disruption through Cheltenham Spa. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Thank you, Matt. Let's hear now from the King.
This is a season when our thoughts turn to celebrations with our friends and families. In the midst of this festive period, I just wanted to ask you to join me today in finding a special place in your hearts and your minds and prayers for the hundreds of thousands of people across our United Kingdom who receive a cancer diagnosis each year and for the millions more who love and care for them. I know from my own experience that a cancer diagnosis can feel overwhelming. Yet I also know that early detection is the key that can transform treatment journeys, giving invaluable time to medical teams and to their patients the precious gift of hope. These are gifts we can all help deliver. Throughout my own cancer journey, I've been profoundly moved by what I can only call the community of care that surrounds every cancer patient. The specialists, the nurses, researchers and volunteers who work tirelessly to save and improve lives. But I have also learned something that troubles me deeply. At least 9 million people in our country are not up to date with the cancer screenings available to them. When bowel cancer is caught at the earliest stage, around 9 in 10 people survive for at least 5 years. When diagnosed late, that falls to just 1 in 10. Early diagnosis quite simply saves lives.
All too often, people will be sitting at home watching a press conference live, and they'll hear loads of questions being asked, and they'll be thinking, that's not my question, that's not my concern.
We don't care whose feathers we ruffle. We ask the questions that you want answering.
You're all standing on the street protesting and want to have an open discussion.
My name's Patrick Christys. I do a show for GB News in the UK. Is it possible to talk to you quickly?
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, this is the best view ever of Whitehall, looking out across all the tractor drivers of England who've come together to make their point.
Hello, so as you can see, I'm here in Westminster as the protest begins.
Yes, I'm very much in the thick of it.
Look, we're challenging narratives here at GB News, and that's what sets us apart.